This is Crow Inquisitors, an actual play RPG podcast about exonerated criminals doing the dirty work of a corrupt church. I'm Caleb, your host and game master, and you're about to listen to episode 3 of the show. A quick rules explanation to start off our time here. The emotional attribute faith features prominently in this episode. So you understand exactly what's happening, let's briefly talk about faith. We mentioned before that characters can use the magic of Saragon, the 9 disciplines, to manipulate the world around them and the people that inhabit it. They do this by drawing on a source of power and then channeling it through one of the disciplines. One of these sources of power can be a steward or deity. Faith, however, is a different way to interact with the world. It involves a much more direct connection to a steward than simply drawing upon them for arcane power. Rather, faith is the direct and explicit petitioning of a deity for a particular effect. Instead of drawing from their power and then channeling it through a discipline, you are asking the steward to use their own power and divine magic to do something for you. Let's see how this works in the rules. Faith is much more than simple belief. It is a profound relationship with the divine that grants the ability to work miracles. Many characters will espouse beliefs about their faith, but not every devout character possesses the faith emotional attribute. Like other magic in the Burning Wheel, faith tests are open-ended automatically, which means that any 6s rolled on the test are automatically re-rolled for more possible successes, like if you had spent a fate point on it. In order to have access to the emotional magic of faith, the character must possess the faithful trait. It costs 5 trait points in character burning unless purchased from a life path. The player must write at least one of his character's beliefs as a statement of faith. Should the character ever lose or change this belief away from his faithful trait is changed to lost faith. You can always change the content of the belief so long as it remains centered on your faith. Theo and Dylan both have faith according to the Burning Wheel rules. As such, they both have beliefs that center on their faith. You might notice them if you pay attention when they're reading their beliefs off. A faithful character may pray for divine intervention. The prayer must be announced and spoken. If the player meets his obstacle, as described in the list of miracles, they gain the favor they asked for. Theo, in addition to his faithful trait, also has the believer trait, which decreases the obstacle for any miracles performed on him by 1. There are several things that a faithful character can ask for, including open-ending an ability, granting bonus dice to tests, or discovering the answer to a question. Like resources and perception, only successful faith tests count towards advancement. So, without further ado, let's hear our characters' beliefs, instincts, and traits, and begin the game. This is Crow Inquisitors. Welcome to the Burning Wheel. David is not here with us, sad face. So yeah, let's go ahead and go through beliefs and instincts. Alphonse, you want to go ahead and start us off and kind of read off your beliefs and instincts here?
I'm just as good as Dylan, and I'll prove it by trying to take charge in his absence. I want to end the papacy. I'll start by scamming the church. I want to restore my reputation by making the party start to trust me. I may or may not be genuine. Who knows? Always entertain myself. Always have alcohol. Always make the situation worse.
Jared, are you lying to yourself?
Drunk. Mark of privilege. I'm lucky. Tall tale teller. Rapier wit. Culturally haughty, religious, and gluttonous.
Cantarius, go ahead and read us off your beliefs and instincts.
I was spared for a reason, and I would administer my own justice. Staff is the key to figuring out what happened to my son. If I break it, maybe the bondage of my son's soul can be broken as well.
You should try breaking the staff this time.
Okay. Alphonse is evil in every regard, and I will find a way to punish him like I have been punished. If there is a confrontation, I take the lead. Always inventing something, never harm a child. Should I read off my traits too, or does that not matter?
Yeah, go ahead and read off your traits.
Rabble-rouser, gifted, dreadful, intimidating, blind, religious, foreign blood, haughty, gluttonous. I also have clothes.
That's good. Theo, want to go ahead and read us off your beliefs and instincts?
Yeah. I do Nurandi's bidding. I will get my wife back. I will kill any man for the goddess. I'm fighting whether or not to trust the gods. I will work towards increasing my faith. If the goddess tells me to kill someone, I kill them. I always judge a book by its cover. Never heed danger. Traits. Mark of privilege. Rapier wit. Tasting the lash. Life is death. Faithful and glory hound. I'm attracted. I'm determined. Mercantile. I'm easily spotted by my hair because I have light blonde hair and it gives away what country I'm from.
All right, Antonius.
Beliefs and instincts.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get my life back, so I will prove myself by completing this mission. I despise the oppressive nobility, therefore I will hurt the first noble I see. Instincts. If I see something is broken, I must fix it. I believe I am right, and I always have a knife on me.
Traits.
Character traits. I am broken in, ambitious, and cynical. And the national traits, I am seen as religious, haughty, and gluttonous by my nationality. And then I am a made man. I have hand-eye coordination, and I'm also unlucky.
You are. You're very unlucky. I'm so sorry about that. Cantarius, what would you be doing as the day opens?
I mean, our goal is to kill all the heretics, right?
It is.
I'd probably go, like, you mean like as I'm getting up, or like what is my goal?
Like what do you do when you get up?
I'm probably going to walk through the city. I'm going to try to keep an eye out for any and all heretics that I actually don't like and wouldn't feel guilty about killing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my goal.
Cool. All right. What about the rest of you? Like, what does your morning look like?
I'd get up really early, probably go to the highest point in the city, and then I'd pray. Could I do a roll for that? Like,
do you actually want to make a faith roll?
Yeah, I want to make a faith roll because I want to pray like, hey, give me some sign, like who I'm supposed to be looking for, like run into someone or...
Let's go ahead and make this the first roll of the game. And this is going to be an Ob 4 test. And that is with the believer trait added on. So normally it would be an Ob 5, but because you have the believer, it's Ob 4. Luckily, because faith is open-ended, it automatically will reroll any 6s you have. So there's definitely a possibility of getting 4 successes. And if you don't, you can still spend a fate point to reroll 1 failed dice. Yeah, go ahead and do that faith roll for me. It's not going to be any modifiers, I don't think. So that is unfortunate. So it rerolled all the 6s for you. There is no chance that you can succeed on this roll.
Not helping me with the heck.
So what does this prayer look like? Like, what are you asking Narani? Are you asking Narani specifically, or like the gods in general?
The gods. Give me something. Give me some sort of... Help me see who I'm looking for. I'm lost. Tell me you're there.
Making me tear up a bit, yeah. I think what just happens is that there is no answer whatsoever. It doesn't seem like there's any sign either like for you or against you. Like there's technically options in the faith rules to like have the god, like if they're angry at your request, to like, you know, smite you or something like that, or cause like a hex or a plague or something like that. But you just don't get any answer. You're up on top of like this cathedral spire, and you don't hear anything. There's not a word in response.
I kind of expected that, so
Mm-hmm.
I was just kind of like, you there or what? Nothing happens. I'm like, yeah, thought so.
Cool. So that's kind of like our opening shot, is you praying that prayer.
I think it should fail the first time, because it's kind of like, well, obviously it's not going to be like, oh, it's going to happen.
Let's go ahead and Alphonse and Antonius, what does your morning look like?
I'm probably sneaking out of some chick's bedroom, trying not to wake her up.
My morning probably consists of me realizing it is no longer evening, and that I should probably stop hammering away on the metal I've been working.
So I'm assuming, Antonius, that you probably like go to sleep?
Maybe for an hour or so.
Yeah. I'll probably have to make you roll a health test at some point today. because
Cool.
you're going to be exhausted.
That's cool.
Awesome. I think what we probably get is like a montage shot at the beginning of this, starting off with Cantarius kind of waking up, and we see his like kind of morning routine where like he wakes up and he's blind, obviously, so he kind of like grabs his staff, which is always in like the same place next to him, and like uses it to get up and be able to make his way out. And then he just kind of goes for a walk, and the theme music is kind of playing as we see him walk around, and then we kind of like cut to Theo praying that prayer and getting rejected, and then just like shaking his head and just kind of climbing down again. And then we go to Alphonse sneaking out of a bedroom, and you kind of just see the briefest glance backward into the bedroom and see like this woman like, you know, just in bed kind of like sleeping like this. And then we go to Antonius, who is like hammering away at this piecework and then just like wiping his brow like this, and then just kind of looking up and seeing the sunrise, and then collapsing in his bed. Cantarius. So you said you're kind of walk around and get the scope of the city?
Yeah.
Did you want to make a roll in particular, or are you just kind of looking around?
I'm looking for somebody, a heretic, that I actually want to kill. So if that requires a roll, then it requires a roll. I'm not necessarily want a roll.
Well, okay, so this is the thing. Like, part of your mission here is to find out who the heretics are. Because this is kind of like a secret cult kind of situation where you know that there are some people in this town who are part of this heretical cult, but they're not going to just come out and say it, because obviously that's going to get them inquisited. So you could make a circles roll to attempt to find a heretic. It would be a very difficult circles roll, but you could make it. Would you like to do that?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, so technically, I don't actually think this is a possible circles roll you can make, because you do not have any villager life paths. You just have city dweller life paths. You could technically make a roll to see if there are any city dwellers in this village who are heretics, but that would be in such an insane roll, such an insane coincidence that I'm not even sure if it's worth rolling. You're religious, but you haven't taken any religious life paths.
I mean, I was a guard, right? And a construction worker.
Exactly, but you were a guard and a construction worker in a city.
Yeah. All right, that's fine.
So you just kind of leave it at that? Just not roll? Okay.
I mean, what else could I use for that? I could just do eavesdropping. I can use my hearing, couldn't I? You
could, yeah. You could just go to like the marketplace and just use your roll a hearing test to just see what you kind of pick up as you sit there.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay. What is your intent with this roll?
To find who's a heretic and who's not. Or not necessarily who's not.
So you want to pick up a piece of conversation that will lead you to a heretic?
Yes. Can I use the fact that I'm blind to people like not pay attention to me?
Yeah, that would be an inconspicuous roll, which you don't have the skill, but you would get advantage for that if you wanted to. But like, yeah, you might have to roll. Okay, so if you're being particularly like you want to make sure that nobody's noticing you, then you would make an inconspicuous roll, and you would get an advantage dice for that if you don't want to. Do you want to just make that first? And
sure.
You don't have the skill, so I'll add it to your character sheet for being learned.
Okay. And base obstacle?
Let's just make it 1. You're in the middle of a busy marketplace, and you're a blind man. It's not that difficult.
What?
You're bad rolls today, man.
Oh, wow.
How did the obstacle get to 2?
Because it's a skill you don't have.
Oh.
So. Wait, you didn't have the modifier, Connor.
Oh.
So just go ahead and type /roll 1d6 and just see if that comes up as a success. That works. Okay. So you are inconspicuous. You're just being the blind man in the corner. You know, do you want to like make a begging roll while you're doing this?
Sure. What the heck?
That's another skill that you don't have, but it's a skill, and you can get money for doing it.
Sweet.
It's will.
It's based on will.
It is based on will. And yeah, it is a graduated test. So yeah, you would just roll with 1 obstacle, and then like how many successes you get determines like how much money you get. So yeah, I mean you got 2 successes. I think you can just go ahead and take 1 dice of cash. So you're there and you just beg like a blind man would, and you get some coins that you can use. Go ahead and make that hearing roll then. What is your intent?
To hear somebody talking about heretical stuff.
Okay, to hear someone talking about heretical stuff. Ob 4. Nice. Oh wow. And the only way you succeeded that was because hearing is open-ended automatically because it's magic, and you re-rolled all those 6s. So,
sweet.
Go ahead and tell us, Cantarius, like what does this look like? Like, what are you exactly doing when you're using your hearing magic? This is a novel, and we were in Cantarius' head right now.
what would you be thinking? Like, what would you be like saying, like, all right, and then I like kind of tune out that area and like tune in another area. Like, how does that go about? How do you use this magic?
Yeah, probably that. Tune in, tune out of different areas. I'm not sure exactly how that would work, but it's magic, so we can just kind of say whatever.
No, it literally is, yeah.
I just kind of...
Like a sonar, like an echolocation. You're like...
That's kind of what it is, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
you're just kind of like aiming it around corners and stuff like that, because it's magic. I mean, that's a thing you could do.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of chilling.
Okay, so you do hear one thing that could be heretical. You hear something along the lines of, the abbess has really taken control of politics in Estol. She seems to be like coming to the festivals and making proclamations. Like, I don't, and it, like, you can tell that this person is kind of hesitant to whoever he's talking to. And then he kind of like says in a whisper, I know that it's technically, I don't know, maybe frowned upon for a woman to be giving orders of that magnitude, but I really like seeing her kind of in charge of the situation. And this is a woman speaking. So
a woman is talking about a woman being in charge of something, and
Yes.
she's happy about that?
yes.
I feel like a really big jerk right now. I'm not going to kill a woman.
Why not? That's not one of your traits, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true. Technically, I don't have anything against killing a woman.
But then apparently it was a
Okay.
man that she was speaking to, and he kind of like coughs and he's like, don't let a priest hear you say that. And then the conversation just kind of like drones off. If you wanted to, you could make another hearing roll to kind of like pinpoint their location.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Okay, make that ob 3.
Dang.
You can spend a fate to re-roll one of the failed dice, though.
Okay.
You only have 1 fate point. Oh, no, I forgot to edit that. You have 2, actually, so you still have 1. And that is a success, so
Sweet.
yeah. They're on like the other edge of the marketplace, and you could probably get over there in like maybe about 30 seconds of kind of navigating through the crowd.
I'm going to go over there, and I'll go confront her and ask her where I could find... I don't know how to do this.
You're good at intimidation.
Yeah. I don't really want to intimidate her, though. Though I'm assuming I probably would.
I mean, probably.
All right, so yeah, I'll follow her around and just kind of wait until she's relatively by herself. And yeah.
Go ahead and make another inconspicuous roll for me then, so you can follow her without being noticed. I'm actually going to roll an observation for her.
Okay.
And this is going to have to be untrained as well. So, and technically, since you're both untrained with this, it would double the successes of both of yours. But because you're both doubling the successes, it doesn't matter. Like, it's just going to be the same result anyway. So go ahead and just roll your inconspicuous. Give yourself 1 modifier dice for being a blind man and a beggar. Put it as 1. So yeah, you go ahead and follow her. She ends up kind of like going down another street and making her way to what seems like her house. So you kind of follow her. You would have the opportunity to kind of confront her in the street if you wanted to. She kind of turns onto like a smaller alley that like is kind of cut off from everything else.
So yeah, I just kind of walk up to her and ask her if there's any heretics in town. No, I'm kidding. If only I wasn't blind, I could pretend I was like some sort of reporter or something. I wanted to do an article about women being in charge.
What? God, this isn't the 1800s.
No, I can write though. I have like a
can.
journal and stuff with me, don't I? I have all my studies with me. Oh no, I don't.
No,
It's
you
not
don't.
on my list. Dang it. That would have been hilarious. But you're blind. Oh, what does that have to do with anything?
Racist.
Yeah, racist. Yeah.
Blind race?
The blind have seceded from their normal races and have become their own race.
So what do you say then, Connor?
I'll probably just ask her about something normal, like the weather. Start a conversation, and just kind of. No, I think I just intimidate her. I'm just gonna intimidate her.
Okay.
I'm just gonna be like, "Hey, tell me where the abbess is."
You already know where the abbess is. She's in
Oh,
the
do I?
abbey.
I
Yeah.
forgot that it's like a really small town.
Yeah. She's in the nunnery up on the hill
Yeah, so what
outside
am I
of town.
doing here?
I don't know. Like, ask her for
I
more
just go
information.
kill her. I mean, but what information is she really gonna know? Like, oh yeah, this is her routine. She's very sensitive to pointy objects that pierce her skin. She's actually allergic to bleeding. I'm just gonna go to the abbey.
Okay. Do you
All right.
take anyone else with you, or?
I mean, I don't really like anybody else. I mean, I don't really think I need anybody else. I mean, okay, I probably assume that everybody else is kind of doing the same thing I am, right?
Since you're all a bunch of criminals who just don't like each other, the actual logical thing to have done in this situation is for everyone to just do it on their own, do it their own way.
But we don't want to do that.
We probably don't want to do that. Yeah.
But would we really all go together?
Yeah.
And are we together now even?
Yeah. All right. So I'll just go back to
The end.
to the thing, and I'll just be like, "Yo, who wants to go kill the abbess?"
Wow. Okay. Short, straight to the point.
I want to kill the abbess.
Yeah, Theo, you're aboard. All right, let's go kill the abbess. Anybody else? Going once, going twice.
Yeah, like what are the rest of you doing when you get there? Antonius is probably sleeping. Alphonse, what are you doing?
I probably went to a bar in a downtrodden part of town and talking crap about the church, subtly to the tenders there, get drunk,
I wear a cloak,
get them to like me,
and kill her,
and invite me to one of their heretic meetings,
Yeah, they have
Party up to the
those.
heretics. Yeah.
How much time has passed?
Maybe about 2 hours or so.
I want to be back in the fray here.
Mm-hmm. So Cantarius just kind of comes into the inn. Theo, did you say that you were there, or did you say that you were off doing something?
Well, I'd probably look for you guys and be like, hey, did you guys get anything? Or
Okay, let's kind of just say you kind of just said like to all each other, hey, go talk to people and then kind of meet back at this time. So let's just make it simpler. Just say you all meet back at the bar in the inn, and Antonius wakes up, and you'll kind of convene. So you got 2 hours of sleep, Antonius.
2? I only wanted 1. Darn. Slept too long.
Yeah, so like how does that conversation play out? So Cantarius, you kind of like walk in while the rest of them are like sitting down drinking.
Yeah. Hey, I found an abbess who used to die. Let's go kill her. She's a heretic.
they say that you could be their next leader of the city. They talk highly of her.
Do you think we should let her live?
Yes.
I mean, she's
No.
definitely a heretic. We're told to kill all of them, correct?
Or
We're not supposed to spare
kill them
anybody.
all.
Or we could convince them to leave.
If I pray to the God to give me an answer, is that a faith roll still? Like if I say, hey,
Yeah.
can you tell me yes or no?
Mhm.
Like, can I pray to the God and ask?
If she wants you to go kill the
Sure.
abbess?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure. So Theo just starts mumbling a prayer right in the middle of the impromptu meeting. Go ahead and make that op 4 again.
Dang it, I could never do this.
You can spend a fate to re-roll that too.
Fine.
That is a failure. You do not succeed on this faith roll. So I think what happens, thunder rumbles in the distance, and it sounds like angry thunder. That's your answer, Theo.
That's killer.
And you definitely get the sense, like these aren't in words per se, but you sense this kind of like a feeling from Narani, basically saying, stop pestering me, do it yourself.
Can I curse the gods?
You can.
Is there a roll for that?
No, you just curse the gods.
Is this what you want? You're a fool, Nurani. A fool.
Or it's like, yeah, are you alright? Yeah.
I am more powerful than all of you.
Theo, would you mind sitting down so we can have our conversation, please?
And then you hear another rumble of thunder, and then you kind of like see out from like the window or whatever that it just starts pouring rain.
Like, great, you caused it to rain now. Are you happy?
Victorious. You gonna do this or what?
Before we all go off to storm the Abbey and everything, should we maybe do some checking around to see if this abbess really is the ringleader of it all? I mean,
Yeah,
Make sure we're
maybe
not
that would be the
stealing
smart
from
thing to
random
do.
lady.
I mean, define the smart thing to do.
the smart thing to do would be to make sure we're killing the right person, so to minimize collateral damage and maximize the church's satisfaction with us. Therefore, we'll be released from our bond sooner.
Did you say that in character?
Why not?
Yeah,
I'm a master
I like
craftsman.
that.
I can use big words.
Yeah, I like that.
The question is, does everyone understand all of them?
I agree with Antonius. We can't just kill people without any proof.
Think I care about who I kill?
No.
Nobody knows I'm working for the church, nor do they know who I am.
Well, now they know because you just said it out loud in the middle of a bar.
I never said it.
You just yelled.
I said I'm gonna kill someone.
The name Nurani, Caleb, is that a common name for a patron saint, or is that
It is a patron saint. It's the patron saint
known-
of marriage, actually.
Okay. I was to say, is that a known heretical name for some of them? Because that would be awkward.
I mean, it's not like a heretical name. You definitely, I mean, there's like a twinge of, it's definitely a different accent than the Saran would use. But you're all using just a variation of the Garrick language, so it's all the same basic language. That's probably a little bit heretical just as it is to like start using Narani's name. But because it's accented differently, someone might think that it's just like a person that you're talking about, like just kind of named after the patron saint. So yeah, so how does this go down then? Cantarius, Antonius, and Alphonse, it looks like are for the idea of like taking it a little bit more cautiously.
I mean, that's fine. I just want to get on with things.
Okay.
I want this to be over with.
Your character just doesn't want to flagrantly kill people, though, right?
I don't want to go and kill the people. I just want this to be done with.
Let's actually just go ahead and take our first break here. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a little bit.
The town of Estol is a sleepy fishing village about 2 days' ride southeast of Lucerta, down the coast of the Gulf of Teco. It's not particularly important, either politically or strategically, but as our characters were told, it has a bit of a religious problem. Here are a couple of features of note about Estol. Estol sits on a hilly coastline, surrounded by a wooden wall with various guard towers along its length. Long ago, the small town used to have a problem with bandits, though the expansion of the kingdom was such that the frontier has long since moved past Estol's borders. On the outskirts of the town, to the east, across a bridge spanning the river that flows into the small bay that Estol is built around, sits a convent of nuns. They have no particular patron saint that they are dedicated to, but have long served the town of Estol with charity work and the making of wines and various crafts. A lonely path south along the cliffs extends from the nunnery towards a singular tower overlooking the ocean, a lighthouse long attended to by the nuns. The town has the usual craftsmen, laborers, and shopkeepers, but primarily gets by through fishing and trade along the coast. On the western side of the town, inside the walls, but set on a moderately sized plateau, is the finer quarter of the city, where the mayor of the town lives, along with a selection of other modestly wealthy merchants and officials of various sorts. The inn where our characters are currently residing sits in the center of the town, near the marketplace. You can find a more detailed rendering of the town of Estol in the liner notes. Let's get back to our episode. This is Crow Inquisitors.
All right, we are back. Welcome, everybody. Did we just ever decide what you guys are going to do?
No. I want to get it over with, but I technically still don't want to kill anybody that I don't necessarily have to kill. And in the sense that, like, if somebody's not, like, terrible and they're a heretic, I don't really care, like, somebody else can kill them. Because I know that nobody else is going to have a problem with that. But I just want to get this over with.
I kind of just want to kill him. Just to either spite the gods or fulfill my duty as a suicide squad.
Yeah, well.
So I'm going to say that, yeah, like Alphonse kind of like goes up to get another drink, so he's like not right there at the moment. And
Okay.
I think that a guy kind of like bursts into the inn while you guys are discussing this. And he has like kind of long, greasy looking hair and like disheveled clothing, and you obviously some like stains on the front of his clothing. He's been drinking, and he kind of like stumbles around and like knocks over a chair or two as he kind of like comes in, and everybody just kind of like looks at him in disgust. But you can tell that it's like a familiar look, like, oh, this guy again. And he like grabs at one of like the serving wenches, and the girl just kind of like pushes him aside, like, and then just like exclaims, and then just kind of brusquely trots off to like go fill up some patron's cup. And the guy kind of like sets his eyes on you three sitting at the table, and he kind of like swaggers over, and he's just like, "Hey there, my name's Opage. Do you want to buy me a drink?"
You talking to all three of us?
Yeah.
Not really.
You just say it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he just kind of ignores you, Cantarius, and just looks at Antonius, like expectantly.
Uh-oh.
Give me a reason why I might buy you a drink.
Well, because I'm such a fantastic person, and you just can't resist giving me a drink so that I can give you some conversation.
And what sorts of conversation are you interested in having?
The kind where I get a drink.
I see. What do you think, Theo? You have some spare change in your pocket for a drink for this man?
I've killed 26 men over 4 countries. I don't think one more will hurt.
What?
He kind of looks at you like, whoa. No one said anything about killing people. I
suggest you walk away.
Go ahead and make an intimidation roll. I mean, that's what that is.
I don't even have an intimidation roll.
You don't? Okay, awesome. So, though you think you're scary, you're rather like
difficult to believe.
Well, yeah, I think that like you think you're more scary than you are. I think you're like a noble in every way, and you kind of come off that way. Like you don't have like the intimidating kind of face of a man that's like super serious about killing people. You absolutely will, but like you're not very good at convincing people that.
I could just kill him.
You would get arrested for it, but
please don't. I don't want to end up in jail again.
Go ahead and make that roll right there, and I think the ob is 4. It looks like you're just very much not good at intimidating people for whatever reason. People just don't believe you, and so yeah, he just kind of looks at you for a second, like you might be serious, and he just starts laughing. He's just like, that's a good one there. And then kind of like reaches out his hand, like, what's your name?
Originally, I wasn't like mad at him. I was just kind of like, better walk away. And he's just kind of like didn't take me seriously. I'm just like, oh, whatever. Like, name's Thanos. I shake his hand.
He kind of shakes your hand and then like kind of stumbles a little bit. And he's like, my name, as I think I said, is Opage. Opage none. And that is a important name in this town. You see, my sister is a Fletcher, and there are some hunters around here, and they get their bows, and she's a boyer. I always get those two mixed up. I think she makes arrows too, though. But anyway, she makes bows and arrows for the hunters, and that's important. Even in a fishing village like this one, you still got to have some red meat sometime. Especially for the mayor, he loves his venison. So,
sure.
So what about that drink?
Opage, I'll buy you a drink if you can tell me some information about the people who live here.
Now that is what I do best. He just plops down in the seat that Alphonse was sitting in. Yeah, I think he grabs Alphonse's like quarter left of a drink that he kind of left on the table and just downs it. Any more?
I'm way over a serving girl to get him a drink.
All right. You don't have to make a roll for that because you have pretty high resources. You just kind of give her a coin and she comes with a drink for him. And yeah, like, what are you asking him?
So how do you people feel about the patron saints around here?
I think we feel about them the same way all folks feel about them. That they're pretty important, but they probably screw you over just as much as they'd help you. And that is a fact. I know it might be frowned upon for me to say that, but it's the dang truth. And you know it, right? You all know that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Patron saints.
Absolutely.
Screw you over every time. I once asked the patron saint of marriage to give me a wife, there was no answer. I gave all of my earnings, and there was no answer. I gave it on the altar, prayed, no answer. Where's my wife? I don't know.
The saints are no more real than your likeliness to be sober. Take a drink of my beer or whatever.
All right. This was a delightful conversation.
I know the saints are real. I just don't really like them. Like, I say that in to make them mad, basically. What do you know about the abbess?
The abbess. Now that's funny. You should ask that. Now, the abbess is a little bit of a wild card. She's not like the other abbesses we've had. The other abbesses have been old and crotchety, and then this new abbess, she's a looker, if you know what I mean.
You are a terrible person.
Calm yourself, Cantarius. No harm against a man admiring a woman's beauty.
See, this man over here, he gets it. So you guys definitely notice that Alphonse does not come back.
Oh.
So.
Well, okay. That's great.
Where can I find the abbess?
I mean, you can find her in the nunnery. I mean, it's up on the hill, right? Excuse me. Straight as you go out of the city to the north, it's right up there. There's a bridge and everything.
Do you know any close affiliations with her? Or anyone sees her with, or somebody who follows her around, or...
The nuns, I guess. The other nuns. That's the thing. They're usually lookers too. I mean, I think they take the best women and they put them in the nunnery so the rest of us can't have them. I think God, wants to keep them all for himself or something.
It's all a conspiracy.
So he's a heretic, so we should probably kill him too.
Or he's just speaking the truth.
Or he's so thoroughly drunk he's not sure what he's saying.
That's fair.
Or he's so drunk he has transcended to ultimate knowledge.
I just think we should kill him. I mean, he's clearly a heretic.
Can I do another faith roll?
To do what?
If this is a man I should kill.
Yeah, go ahead. It's probably not going to end well, and you probably get struck by lightning or something. But by the way, yeah, he was soaking wet when he came in because it is still raining. It's going to be op 4 again, like the other times.
I gotta think of what to say. I'm kind of mad still. And I'm sure this is another man that you don't want me to kill.
You say that out loud?
Oh, you.
Oh, nice. Awesome. The ghost of your wife appears next to you. None of the rest of you see it. It's in your periphery.
Or what if I just said freaking out like something's hurting my brain?
Okay. Yeah, sure. So you kind of go like this. And then out of your peripheral vision, you see your wife's face and you turn your head and your wife is sitting there. From the lips of your wife, you hear Nirani's voice saying, "Stop wasting your time with this fool. He is of no consequence." And then she just disappears.
Well, that's creepy.
How much of Theo's unusual behavior do the rest of us notice?
You probably all notice it pretty obviously. He's writhing for a little bit. What do you do after the ghost disappears?
I'm I must go. And I just walk out.
Okay.
Well, great. Now he's arrogant and sick.
So yeah, what's the plan for the rest of you then? What are you going to do?
What are the facts as we know them so far? The abbess has been making important decrees.
Yeah.
Apparently orders of great magnitude. And that's not something abbesses typically do in the towns near their abbeys.
Definitely not.
So that's abnormal. It's also abnormal that it's a woman giving orders. Do we know the nature of the orders that she's been giving, Cantarius?
He didn't really question the lady.
No.
So.
No, I was just hey, we found a heretic. Let's just go kill her. Get this over with.
So the question becomes...
I don't think my character wants to deal with any of the more ramifications. I think he just wants to kill everybody.
He doesn't want to think too hard about it because if he does, then he'll probably realize what he's doing is wrong.
What he doesn't want to do is try to figure out who he should kill and who he shouldn't. He's just let's just kill them.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he thinks too much about it, he feels guilty.
I want to think about it a lot. I want to be exactly precise and do it exactly correct so that I don't incur the anger of the guy who can tear me to shreds with a thought.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
So are you going to at least go to the Abbey?
At this point, I'm not
Can't be.
really a doctrine freak. I wouldn't know what's heretical and what's not at this point. I'm assuming the heresy is something somewhat blue cloaks and goat sacrifices and stone monoliths and, pagan mess. So I honestly don't really know what I'm looking for. I kind of was relying on our doctrine freak, David, to...
Yeah.
And I think what he probably did, he probably didn't tell any of you where he was going. He just got up in the morning and just went off to just do his own search. Because I think he's pretty confident that he can just figure it out on his own.
Okay.
Would make sense.
And I'll probably have him make a couple of rolls at the beginning of next session to kind of figure out what he learned. So yeah, I mean, Paige is just kind of waiting for you to ask him other questions and kind of nursing his drink, kind of rocking back like this. Anything else?
I'm gonna make another faith roll when it's my turn again, because I want to I'm getting angry that I can't figure out who I'm looking for. She hasn't told me who I'm looking for. I'm like, what the heck do you want me to do?
This is really funny. You're just angering her so much because you keep making these faith rolls.
Like, I want my wife back. Tell me what I have to do, and I'll do it. Stop messing around.
Pro tip, employers typically like you being a self-starter.
Fine, I'll just kill somebody. And
do you want to just go kill some random person, Theo?
I have to.
I mean, to be honest, it's raining pretty hard. You could probably just murder someone in an alley and get away with it pretty easily.
In a town this small, who gets blamed automatically when things go wrong in a small town? The foreigners.
I mean,
or
probably.
the strangers.
Yeah.
Or the...
Actually, yeah, so Theo, you'd probably be the person who definitely should do that.
Yeah.
You'd be pretty traceable.
Us, Jared would be the only one who could talk his way out of an issue like this.
If something you think Theo would do. But okay, so Antonius and Cantarius, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Where are you headed? Because as soon as we kind of figure out that direction, I'm going to jump over to Alphonse and figure out what he's been doing.
I'm trying to remember all that Theo's asked this guy already. What's kind of the gist of what we learned from him so far, from Theo?
I mean, you've learned that the abbess is young, and that she's beautiful, and that she's a wild card.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, basically that's the gist of it. You know that you haven't really asked him about heretical stuff all that much, just kind of like who she is. You know that the nuns follow her, but that's obvious.
Typical local politics in the region. Town this size has a mayor, governor,
Mayor.
chief elder.
To mayor.
Mayor?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can ask about him. He did reference the mayor. You could ask him about the mayor.
So, Paige, what do you think about the mayor? Is he a nice guy? You like him?
I mean, he hasn't kicked me out of the town yet, so that's a thing. His name's Etro. I think he was a holy advocate at some point, and then he got either promoted or demoted, depending on where you're hearing it from. And sent to be the mayor of this town, of good old Estol, the heartland of Saran.
So town's thriving, economy's doing well, people love the mayor, that sort of thing?
He just kind of shrugs. He's like, I mean, I wouldn't really know. Are we doing well? I mean, I think so. I get some good begging money when I go out, so enough for me to live on.
Okay. Has the mayor issued any major decrees lately?
I think he made some sort of fishing embargo thingy, or maybe I'm not using the right word there. Some sort of tax on sailing or something. I don't really know. I don't really go down to the docks too much.
So it's post new decrees and laws and stuff down by the docks?
I think there's some sort of tax or embargo or thingamabob down there. I think actually, I do remember. I know a guy who used to be a sailor, and he kind of goes down to the taverns down on the docks, and he said that the sailors were kind of angry about the thing that Icho just did. I just remembered that. And he kind of looks down at his drink, and it's gone, and he kind of shakes it expectantly at you.
Yeah, another one, man.
And he kind of settles back happily, and he's like, "But yeah, I think that there was something fishy going down at the docks, if you know what I mean."
Fishy.
This guy's hilarious.
Oh, I'm so sad I'm not there. I love this guy.
I know. He comes sitting down. I'm like, oh, it's almost like you came back.
Yeah, basically.
There are these nuns nearby. They take your fish and stick to themselves, or keep to
they
themselves?
usually did. Just recently, Akia, that's the name of the abbess. Akia has started coming down into the marketplace and kind of doing her little preaching thing. I don't really know if that's allowed, but she did it.
Does she do this kind of regularly, or is this kind of a one-off thing? You know, I'm interested. I've never actually heard a woman preach before.
She did. He kind of like looks around. I don't think it's allowed technically, but was very interesting to see her speak. And as I said, she's quite the looker. But she did it last week, and I think she's planning on doing it next week. But it's not like a thing where she kind of comes down in the city every day. It's just like once in a while. I don't know.
Do you have any idea who might know when she's going to be speaking next, more specifically?
I mean, she would, and the nuns would, and maybe the priest here in town at the temple. I think there might be something going on between those two, if you know what I mean.
Ooh.
But that is
drama.
pure gossip. You didn't hear it from me.
Of course.
No one.
But you're hearing this from a random drunk guy, so.
Mm-hmm.
But people only tell the truth when they're drunk, really.
Seriously.
Right? Yeah, if you really think about it. Or if you don't think about it at all. One of the two.
Where's the direction of your inquiry kind of taking you at this point?
I'm getting a feel for the politics of the town.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems that
so am I, because I'm making it up.
Maybe this abbess is a little more religiously heretical than politically heretical, you know?
Yeah.
Because initially my thought was, if she's making decrees and kind of circumventing the mayor, I'm wondering, is he kind of one of those guys who'd rather just sit back and let someone else run his town? Is this a conflict between the abbess and the mayor? Is the mayor or is it more the abbess is just being plain heretical religiously, and we won't have a big political meltdown if something were to go down at the abbey?
So I think let's go ahead and jump over to Alphonse.
He said he had to go take a leak, and then he left, jumped on his horse that we had from the beginning, and galloped as quickly as he could to the nunnery.
It is pouring rain still. So you kind of, okay, so you do that. You get on your horse, that's fine. Your horse kind of like gives you a look like, seriously, like we're going out in this weather. You kind of, you go through the streets, go towards, you know what? I'm going to make you make a riding check. You're galloping through pouring rain.
While drunk.
Well, slightly intoxicated. So let's go ahead and make you.
Slightly intoxicated, he says.
What? I'm not intoxicated right now, am I?
I mean, you just had a drink.
Wait, did he have like a drunk?
I had half of a mug.
Half of a mug.
Right.
Your character does not have that kind of self-control. Come on.
I know, but that's all the time I had to drink because he still drank the rest of it.
Okay.
What's the difficulty? Because I'm going to fail no matter what, unless it's a 1. Because I only have 1 in writing.
Let's go ahead and say a 5.
Oh, why are all of my challenges always so hard?
Do you have anything you could fork in?
BS-wise?
That's not help you in a riding
the horse
test.
to run faster and better.
You might be able to fork it streetwise. Or actually, I think it would probably be city-wise.
Either way.
But like at the very least, you know about like roads in cities, and that can kind of translate to roads in villages. So
okay. So now it's still physically impossible no matter what.
Not necessarily if you get fate or if you get 6s.
Even if I got 2 6s and then I got 2 6s after that, it'd still only be 4.
But you got a 6. You have to get 2 6s and then another success.
Yeah, not worth it.
Okay, that's fine. I think what happens is right about the time you get to like towards the gate, as you kind of like around the corner towards the gate, like that turn just does not work for you. The horse kind of like stumbles a bit and then like kind of rears because it almost like ran into a wall. It kind of like skids to a stop and then like rears, and then you get thrown.
Oh, you lie.
And I'm going to say that is a 3 wound, which means that's a light wound for you. So
don't I roll anything to see if I don't take damage? Agility?
Okay, you can make an agility roll, I guess. Up 3. You do have a 6, so you could re-roll that. Okay, you have lots of fate points, so. And that is also a success. Okay, so you managed to like just barely like tumble. You get bruised, but it doesn't actually do anything to you. So
yeah, I already deducted my fate point from the thing.
Yeah, so it's a B1 wound instead of a B3, which is a bruised, which doesn't do anything. So you have a bruise, but it doesn't actually affect you really. So basically what happens is you hear some laughter up from the guard tower right on the top of the gate, and you see like a little like fire pit or whatever kind of glowing ever so slightly, and you see like 2 guards with like cloaks up on the top of the guard tower, like poking it with the stick, and they're both looking at you like laughing their heads off.
Okay, well I go into the thing then.
Okay, so yeah, you go ahead and calm your horse down. So you just kind of like trot him through that gate towards the... Yeah. Okay, so the guard that's up on that gate right there looks down at you and it says, "What? Are you kidding? In this rain? Why do you got to go to the nunnery anyway?"
"I have an urgent message of the utmost importance. I must be let in."
Go ahead and make a persuasion.
Can I add bullcrap, lies, and falsehood?
You can indeed.
What's the op?
3. Surprise, you succeeded on a persuasion roll. So yeah, I don't think you need any routine, so yeah, that doesn't help you at all. Oh, you go ahead and mark a challenging writing test. So you go ahead and write across to the abbey/nunnery. Let's see, there's a nun up in the watchtower, and she looks like she's kind of knelt praying in the rain. There's not much of shelter above her with this watchtower. Yeah, your first thing that you probably think, since you kind of know doctrine, is that she's probably doing some sort of like semi-flagellation kind of a thing where she kind of has to like suffer in the rain.
Flagellation?
Flagellation. What? You know what I'm talking about.
That's a bad thing. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, she's not paying attention to you at all, so.
Like the gentleman I am, I take off my coat and put it around her.
She's on the top of a tower. You are below her.
Oh, how would I notice that if she's on top of a tower?
Because you see like the little incense candle that's like just about to be put out by this rain. Gotcha. And she's kind of like sheltering it with her hands.
I'm like, "Hey, nun, I need to get in. I have a message of the utmost importance for your, what's it called?
Abbess.
Abbess. Okay.
Just go ahead and make a persuasion because it's...
I'm like, "Fair maiden, would you please open the gate for me? I have a message of the utmost importance that your abbess needs to hear. That way I can fork in seduction."
Okay. I actually want you to make a links test with that. Not a fork. So go ahead and roll seduction by itself to see if she's actually attracted to you.
Just no modifiers, or?
I mean, you can fork in and something if you would like.
Persuasion, bullcrap, and falsehood?
Sure.
Okay.
If you're complete. Okay, so this is you. As you can look closer, you kind of see that it's like a middle-aged woman.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would definitely be, I think, bullcrap and falsehood for you.
Oh, Jared.
3 and what's the base?
4.
All right.
Wow, that's a lot of dice. Well, you succeed. Surprise, surprise. You got every single one of those except for 1 as a success. You can barely see her, but she kind of like hesitates a little bit, and then she pulls like some sort of lever that kind of like starts these cranks turning and opens the gate or whatever. So you just kind of ride in. No one's in the courtyard because it's raining, but you just kind of want to ride in towards like that main building over here.
Yeah.
You make your way there. What do you do with your horse?
Is there like a place for horses?
Yep, right there. Yeah, you go ahead and put it in the horse thing and then go ahead and kind of just like walk in to that main building. I mean, it's just like this courtyard with like braziers on either side, and you walk in, I'm assuming? Like, it's pretty empty, this main courtyard.
I talk to someone like, "Yo, where's the abbess?"
Okay, so yeah, the first nun you kind of see, she kind of like gives you a look like, "You're a guy, what are you doing here?" But then, yeah, she kind of just points you in a direction to go to the abbess because you look pretty urgent. Yeah, you make your way to basically like this chapel area, and you can't see inside, but you hear like some muttered prayers and stuff like that from inside. Do you want to just burst in or whatever?
I'm not going to burst in. I open it quietly and peer.
You see 3 nuns like knelt in prayer before this altar. There's no image of the great god. No, like it's not a thing to kind of like have some sort of graven image of it, of the god. But I think it's like a circle. It's actually an incomplete circle is what this kind of symbol is. And that's the symbol of the great god. It's an incomplete circle. One of the nuns on like the side kind of like glances back and like whispers something to the other nuns. And then the second, like this nun on the other side looks back and like they start like talking to each other. But the middle nun just continues praying.
Is the middle nun like different? Is she distinguishably like The abbess.
I guess, yeah, because we kind of established that sashes are what signify the ranks with the Inquisitor. She has like a brown sash across. She has like black robes or whatever, and then like the classic like white kind of nun headdress thing, and then a brown sash, which does signify her as the abbess.
Gotcha. So, okay, I patiently wait until she's done praying.
Yeah, eventually, basically, she kind of just like slaps slightly, very slightly, like the nun next to her, and says like, "Quiet." And then they all kind of like kneel again and pray for a little bit, maybe about a minute, and then she stands up and turns around. And Alphonse, this is the most beautiful woman you've ever seen in your life.
Really? Darn it.
She is absolutely gorgeous. She has this raven black hair that you can just see kind of poking through her headdress. Like her eyes are like the sunset itself. Like they're almost golden. You've never seen eyes like this before.
Should I roll a steel test?
Yes, you should roll a steel test. You absolutely should roll a steel test. That is a failure, sir. 0 successes. So you have a few options here. When you fail a steel test, you can stand and drool, you can run screaming, or you can swoon.
What is swooning?
A player character may have his character pitch backwards in a swoon. The character is dazed and utterly unaware of his surroundings while in a swoon. Players who opt to have their character swoon may choose how and when their character is roused. The character hesitates for at least many heartbeats as the margin of failure, and for as long as the player wants after that.
Okay, well, I'll swoon and I unswoon when she addresses me, starts talking to me.
So what happens is you literally pitch backward and just fall.
There's a door there.
Yeah, so you like fall against the door and like slide down. And she like gives you like a strange look, kind of cocks her head, walks over to you, and kind of leans down, and like her hands are like clasped like normally they would be as a nun. Can I help you, sir?
I shake my head. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm just exhausted from the rush getting over here. I have an urgent message. Can we possibly talk in private?
Go ahead and make a persuasion roll. Let's look at her will. 4.
Or would anything be applicable to fork?
Probably not. I think you're just kind of doing a straight like, let's go meet in private kind of a thing.
Oh no!
Ooh.
My little I'll spend a fate point to reroll.
Yeah, go ahead and spend a fate point to reroll that. That is a fail, unfortunately. So yes, she kind of like cocks her head again and she says, I believe we can talk here. What is your message?
I look at the other two nuns and I was like, okay. I whisper, I'm like, there are people here to kill you in town. They just arrived and you should probably get to safety.
I think as soon as you start speaking, she kind of like goes like this and she's like, what was that? I could not hear you.
oh. And I'm like, there are people here to kill you. The church sent them.
You don't have to shout.
I wasn't shouting. I was enunciating. So yeah, you're in grave danger. They think you're a heretic and the church wants you dead and all of your followers. And yeah.
She raises her eyebrow and says, really? And I'm trying to think if that's actually a falsehood roll. Like, are you convinced that this is actually going to happen?
With Connor, David, and possibly Theo, yes. But I'm also going to play it up and like, this is a team of highly trained killers.
Right.
Like, these are the last people you want to mess with, even though I think they kind of all suck.
Okay, so that's definitely a falsehood roll. So go ahead and roll falsehood against her will.
But I'm persuading her that it's in her best interest to leave. I'm saying that
this is the role to convince her that you're telling the truth. After that, you can persuade her to do something about it.
Okay.
She needs to believe that this is true first.
So I'll fork in persuasion and bullcrap wise, since I think our team kind of sucks. Mm-hmm. So what's the
4 at her will again.
Gosh darn it. Need a new pair of shoes, yes.
Just barely. She nods and she says, this is grave news indeed. And what would be your advised course of action?
Do you have, like, followers? Or
she looks behind her. I mean, my followers are here all around us. I am the abbess of this nunnery, after all.
Okay, well, it would probably be in your best interest to leave.
Leave?
Go into hiding. Yeah.
I cannot leave. This is my flock. I speak of the people in the town as well as the people in the nunnery.
Oh boy. Well,
I'm needed here. I mean, you can make a persuasion roll.
Okay. I look her in the eyes. I'm like, you are no good to anyone here if you die. And the men the church sent are serious. And if they fail, they'll just send more until you're dead. You and your flock need to leave. The world can't lose. And this is where my seduce voice comes in. I'm like, the world can't lose an amazing woman such as yourself.
All right, well, make the seduction roll first, because...
Can I fork persuasion into that?
Sure.
Okay, and I can't really do bullcrap wise because she's super attractive.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Nice.
Can I re-roll all of those sixes to make it even better?
No, you can't. Okay, so what was your intent here exactly?
Make her feel like more comfortable around me and, trusting me.
Okay.
Look at me as a friendly, helpful figure.
Cool. All right, so that gives you one advantage dice on your persuasion roll. So,
Okay.
so she thinks you're charming.
Okay, so I'm persuading her to like gather her flock and like leave to safety, and I give her like the address for a safe house of one of my my one contact lady. Should I roll a contact roll for that to see if I know?
No. I mean, you're talking about your crime
lady.
lord.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're not telling her where this safe house is or what it's about, right? You're just telling her there is a safe house.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was
I'm
about
not
to say
telling
like
her to go there, but I'm telling her she should leave, and that's a place she could go.
All right. I was gonna say, like, if you're telling her to go visit a crime lord, like that would raise the ob all the way through the roof.
Yeah, I'm not that stupid.
Okay, go ahead and make it. I guess an ob 6, because I mean this is a very hard roll to make.
Persuasion, because of my persuasion, the seduction one.
I'm not gonna say 7, not 6.
Okay, so I get a dice for the seduction, and can I fork in seduction as well?
No, that is your fork dice.
Okay.
That's what that is.
And bullcrap wise, and falsehood, because I'm upping everyone else in our group and making it seem much more dire than it is.
Sure. Do you want to try to add some sort of like really tall tale to get that extra dice for your trait?
Yes. If you stay here, they will potentially slaughter the entire city, all because they believe you're a heretic. Not a single man, woman, or child will survive this.
All right. Go ahead and add another dice for that.
Yep, it's 7.
Yep.
Come on, need a new pair of shoes? No.
It's a failure. You got 1 6. This is where all the money comes down.
I got 2 6s.
Did you? Nice. Okay, so yeah, slash roll 2d6. You want to spend a fate on that. 8 altogether. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, she's convinced of that. She's like, and her face like just goes pale, chalk white, and she's like, "You can't be serious. They will kill everyone."
And I solemnly like look down, like semi-guilty, and I don't know whether or not I'm being truthful. There's a little twang. I think my heart grew a couple sizes that day.
Okay, so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to make an opposed observation for her. Unfortunately, she does not have observation. Make an inconspicuous roll. So she got 2 successes, and she has a fate point, so I'm going to go ahead and roll that 6 again. Oh, and another 6.
Oh.
But that's a failure. Okay, so that's 3 successes. So
it's physically impossible.
I mean, go ahead and roll it anyway.
Oh, so it's gray shaded.
It is gray shaded. Okay, so you only got 2. So you failed. She noticed.
Okay.
She noticed, and I'm trying to think of how she'd think about that. I think what she does is she frowns, and she says, "I will have to think on this further. Please excuse me." And then she just walks out the door behind you. So let's go ahead and pop back over to, I think, Theo. What is Theo doing in the rain right now?
Well, I was thinking about following him, but
I don't think you know that he left.
Was I in there when he said that they were at the monastery?
You know that. Everybody knows that the nuns are at the...
Can I be heading up there? But like, I'm not like going up there to kill her. I'm just going up there to find out about her.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going up there, and I'm kind of like talking to the gods. What I was going to do a faith roll as I was on my way up there.
You are very committed to these faith rolls, my friend.
Why aren't you telling me anything? I'm just going to like, tell me what I need to do, like in an angry tone. If she doesn't, then I'm just be like, whatever.
Okay, I'm not going to have you make that roll, because the let it ride rule basically says if you can't re-roll the same kind of thing if this situation hasn't dramatically changed. Every single time you've rolled a faith roll, it's been for something different up to this point. But this is something you've already asked, and the gods are not telling you. So you pray, but the faith roll automatically fails. Nothing happens. You've already failed that roll, and the gods are not answering your question. So you make your way up to the nunnery. So what do you do when you get to the gate right over here? The guards kind of like look down at you and say, what do you want? It's pouring rain.
I need some time to pray.
Well, the temple's that way. Why do you want to go to the nunnery? You're not a nun. Crazy Verudian.
Do you have your trident with you?
I'm not like holding it like on my back.
You can still see it though. So tridents are big.
I wish to speak with the Arbus or whatever.
The abbess?
The arbiter?
The Abbess, yeah.
She says, well, you're the second one today. Why should I let you in here?
Wait, another man was here?
Yeah, some pretty boy who just, I don't know, he was like a messenger or something. He had some urgent message that he had to give to the abbess. Are you going to make me open this gate for you?
Yes, I feel... Wait, will I have a persuasion or no?
Yep, you have 4 persuasion.
Oh. I was going to say, I honestly think that like he went up there to kill her or something like that, because like we know we had to kill heretics, that was our job.
Sure.
And I don't know. Alphonse, like, I fear she's in great danger. I do not know the motives of the man who was here earlier.
Well, why should I trust your motives? And that's me as a narrator asking you to roll persuasion.
What was the name of that?
Thanos.
I am a man of honor. I was born into nobility. Like, explain how I'm a man of honor and like.
Okay, so what that would be, go ahead and make an etiquette roll as a linked test, and if you succeed on it, then you can get 1 dice to your roll. And make the ob 3 as well for that one.
Dang it.
You failed. So you do not look noble enough. So you can still make the persuasion roll, but
The rain probably doesn't help.
There's no way you're nobility.
go make persuasion at op 3, so.
Alright, declare an extra op because he's armed. Declared.
Sure. Op 4.
Also, second man to approach a nunnery, which is a women's.
And he's a foreigner.
Yeah, so op 4.
Dang it, I failed again.
Yeah, so he's like, nope, not gonna do it. Go away, you bugger. And he just goes back into his watchtower and just slams the door. And I think we'll go ahead and break on that. Stick around, we'll be right back.
You may have noticed that we've mentioned several times that a few of our characters, Delin and Alphonse, have gray shades. Let's talk briefly about what that means. There are 3 shades, left to right along a grayscale: black or mundane, gray or heroic, and white or supernatural. Stats, attributes, skills, and even equipment can be heroic or supernatural in shade. The question remains, what do the shades mean? Well, anything black shaded rolls dice that give successes on a result of 4 or higher on a 6-sided die. Anything gray shaded results in a success on a 3 or higher, while anything white shaded on a 2 or higher. The obstacles for heroic and supernatural shades are the same as for mundane. The lighter shades just have a better chance of meeting those obstacles. For example, Delin has a G6 sword skill, which means that the dice he rolls for that skill are gray shaded. David would roll 6 dice and would need 3s rather than 4s to get successes. Gray-shaded abilities are reserved for the most heroic among men, as well as powerful beings such as demons and dragons. Supernatural abilities are reserved for gods and great ancient entities. Both Delin and Alphonse have a few gray-shaded stats, which means that any skills based on those stats are also automatically gray-shaded. Delin has a gray-shaded agility, which is why his sword skill uses gray dice. Alphonse has a gray-shaded will and fort, which gives him social skills that are gray-shaded, as well as a gray-shaded health. Delin and Alphonse are both rather remarkable individuals, and we'll explore this potential for greatness as we continue throughout the show. There are several other effects gray shades can have upon various things, such as aptitude and various obstacles, but it would take a while to go through them all here. We'll discover more about shades later in the game. That's all from the rulebook for now. Let's get back to our session. This is Crow Inquisitors.
All right, we are back. Theo was just shunned from going into the nunnery, so you could still attempt to climb over the wall, but I think... Okay, so what I think we're actually probably going to do first is snap back over to Antonius and Cantarius.
So at this point, I feel like I've gotten as much out of the drunk guy as I can.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to get a chance to talk this over with Cantarius because I want to see what the other people in my party think.
Definitely.
Whether or not he wants to think about it, I'm going to go ahead and try. However, still got a drunk guy at our table, so suppose I should need to deal with that first.
Oh, yeah, he's still there.
He kind of looks at you guys expectantly.
I asked to speak to you in private, Antonius.
Oh, very well.
Yeah, Paige just kind of nods his head like, oh, go ahead, talk it over. You're thinking about buying me another drink, aren't you?
I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking about killing him. I say to you.
I wouldn't blame you.
I mean, we're here to kill heretics, but this guy actually does seem like a terrible person as far as we know. And since he's technically a heretic, we probably have to kill him anyway. So
he's not worth our time.
Okay.
I seriously think the church would consider him collateral damage, or they would consider him extraneous to the real heretics thing, and then we're going to have issues. So let's avoid collateral damage if we can.
Okay, so what's your guys' plan then?
Well, at this point, an abbess who is making decisions and is preaching in front of the town does not seem to mesh with what I understand from my meager learning in the church.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's not normal. Do you think we found our heretic? Is that enough to go on, in your opinion?
To kill her or to look into it more?
I would say maybe this merits looking into further.
Like, I agree with you that we should, be sure of what we're doing and who we, whatever. But
oh, good. I was starting to be afraid that you might be as bloodthirsty as some of these other people here.
But that's the thing, is I don't want to think about this too much. I basically just tell you this flat out. Like, I just confess to you. Like, I don't want to deal with immoral ramifications of killing these people, and I just can't think about it. And so I don't think it would be too wise for me to trust you at this point, because I don't know you, not any offense to you in any way. But, like, I'm just going to trust you, and you should just, whatever, because I don't want to have to deal with this.
Well, it's kind of raining pretty hard out right now. Perhaps we want to see who else we can talk to, pursue a line of inquiry about what the abbess might have been teaching in the marketplace and when she might be teaching next, so we can get a clear charge of heresy.
All right.
I'll start at the bar, you start at the tables, or, well,
sure.
You know, trip over the tables, I guess. Maybe you should start at the bar. So you have something to feel.
Wow, that was low. That was a low blow, man. I don't say that. No, I don't make a comment on that. I just walk over to the tables and not hit them.
Antonius is impressed.
Good.
At this point in the day, it's afternoon, evening, and it's raining pretty hard.
Yes.
It's more towards afternoon than evening. It's like early afternoon, if anything.
Okay. Are there people at the bar? How many? And
there's maybe like 2 people kind of sitting at the bar. They both look like common laborers. And then there is like maybe 3 occupied tables around the common room, and all of them only have like 1 or 2 people at them. It's just kind of like the common like laborer type craftsman. You actually do see the blacksmith that you worked at his forge last night sitting at one of the tables, just kind of nursing a drink by himself. One thing I do think, Antonius, is that you kind of like, as you're kind of like, you start walking towards the table or whatever, I think you double over a little bit, because you realize that like your wound from falling is still like not healed over at all, and it's causing you some pain.
Mm-hmm.
You can attempt at any point, since it's only a light wound, you can attempt at any point to do a health test to try to recover from it.
I'm thinking maybe I'm going to actually just head off to my room then if I'm feeling really awful. I'm going to head up to my rooms and see what my wound actually looks like and whether I need to do anything about it.
Sure. Yeah, so Antonius, you kind of like look at your wound, and it is a light wound, so it's not like super crazy. But basically, like, you scraped off a whole bunch of skin on, like, your rib area. It's kind of bleeding through your shirt a little bit. Not too bad.
Because I've been working in the same shirt all night.
Exactly.
Well, I'm thinking... Yeah, I'm going to attempt to bandage it up and help it heal and health check.
So that is an Ob 3 health test because of the disadvantage you incurred from staying up all night.
Ah, I see. That was an unwise maneuver. Ob 3, shall we try this? Let's try this. Ah!
All right. No, you got a 6. You can spend fate on that.
Let's do this. I'll spend a fate on that.
Okay, /roll 1d6. You failed.
Oh.
Failed recovery for superficial and light wounds. Character is scarred up a bit and recovers in the full time required. The die penalties remain in effect for the duration of the recovery time. Oh, it's not a light wound, it's a superficial wound. So technically the ob is only 2 for that. Sorry, that was my fault. You just succeed. You're healed up just fine.
Oh, good.
So yeah,
So
it looks worse than it actually is. So you just kind of patch yourself up a bit and you're good to go.
Hey, as long as you can't see bone, it's not as bad as it looks.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And if you can see bone, it's only slightly worse than it sounded when it actually happened.
Yeah. Kentarius, what are you doing downstairs then? What kind of roll are you trying to make?
That's a good question.
Are you trying to make like a circles roll to find someone specifically who knows something about the Abyss?
Yes, but I'm going to fail that, so I'll just intimidate.
Well, that's the thing. Like you can't just like intimidate the whole room. You just got to either choose someone randomly or make a circles roll to try to see if you can find someone specifically.
So I can't like do anything to pick somebody. It's just choose somebody random. I could just use my like perception.
You could
attribute, right?
Yeah, you can make. I mean, you could just make another hearing roll. See if you hear anybody talking about anything like that.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's just do that. Base obstacle.
What's your intent?
See if anybody's talking about church-related things.
Okay, Ob 4.
Oh, I failed.
Oh wow.
So I pick a guy who I dislike the most, and I intimidate him.
Okay, so you just pick what, like the guy who just gives you the wrong feeling the most?
Yeah.
What are you basing that off, Connor? Just his voice, then? The guy's voice?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
He sounds like a jerk, or he's making fun of his friends, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, he's kind of like talking loudly about his wife, actually. He's talking in not so subtle details about basically his wife won't have sex with him.
Wow. All right, well, base obstacle.
Well, what is your intent? What are you trying to do?
I want to know stuff about the Abyss lady. I'll make the assumption that clearly he gets around, so...
Okay, so the intent basically is if you know something about the Abyss, he will tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just go against his will, which I'll make it 3. It's not going to be super difficult.
Okay.
This guy is more talk than walk, so...
What?
Oh, wow. That's pretty sad.
Can I spend fate to reroll?
No, you can't because there's no 6s. So why does this fail?
Because the guy doesn't know anything, probably.
Okay. You scare the crap out of him. He literally pees his pants.
Yeah.
But he knows absolutely nothing about the Abyss.
Yeah. I mean, why would he?
He's not a very religious guy whatsoever. He barely goes to the church ever.
Okay, so, all right. So, yeah, that's the assumption there. I'm assuming I can't try again, though.
You could try again with someone else. You just couldn't try again on this person.
Oh, okay. All right, so I'm gonna do that and be like, oh, why would I choose a jerky guy to learn stuff about the church? And I'm like, well, that was dumb.
So you're gonna find like the nicest, like most religious seeming guy in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, make another hearing test for that. 3. Nice,
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, it's this. It's actually the blacksmith. It's the blacksmith that Antonius met earlier. He literally he grabbed out like a small like scroll and he's reading scripture to himself, just quietly. He's trying to do it like inconspicuously. He's kind of trying to make it seem like he's like checking business records or something, but he's actually reciting scripture to himself.
And would this be a case of most common people who don't have the reading and writing skills or aren't professional at it can't read or write without talking out loud while they're doing it? Or you have to read out loud to yourself, or is
well, that's
that
the thing. Like that's not so much that if he doesn't have write and read that he does that. It's just it's probably what most people do just in general.
just read out loud.
They just read out
can't
loud.
Read this.
Exactly.
I know that for certain church fathers, notice was made they could read without moving their lips while doing so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and definitely it's a medieval thing where like that's not really a normal thing to read silently. You read when you're out loud, and that's probably why he's so hesitant or whatever, because he has to read it out loud if he really wants to read it, but he doesn't want to do so in like kind of in public.
I just say, clearly you're a religious person.
Okay.
So let me tell me about the abbess.
So yeah, he closes that scroll as fast as he can and kind of shoves it into this little bag that he has next to him, and he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I say you're going to tell me everything you know about the abbess right now.
Intimidation.
Bob?
Let's see what his will is. 3.
What is this crap?
You have a 6. You can reroll it.
It's only 1, though. What the heck?
So you now have 0 fate points.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
And you got 2. Yeah, you got 2 more successes. So you got 4. So he says, what do you want to know?
Everything. Everything you can tell me about the abbess.
He goes on to tell you basically everything you already knew about the abbess, that she's been preaching every once in a while in the middle of the town. That she...
I know. Some of them I don't know. Come on.
Well, I don't know what you don't know.
I'd say I needed to give a private meeting with her. How would I go about doing that?
I mean, I don't
Tell me.
know her on a personal basis. Make a hearing test. It's going to be an opposed, so just set it as 1. Connor, you can totally tell that he's lying. He has met with the abbess before for some random reason.
Throw him up against the wall.
Oh, really?
Yeah, make a scene of it.
And what is your intent with that? Are you actually rolling like a brawling or?
Nah, intimidation still.
Well, okay, so you're going to have to roll brawling because he's a big guy to actually accomplish that.
Well, we're trying to do this conspicuously, right?
Yeah.
Would me throwing a guy up against a wall be a big deal, or maybe not?
I mean, it's not like you're killing anyone, so it's not like, but it would draw attention to you. Especially if you're a blind guy.
Throwing the local blacksmith against a wall, that might be a thing. I mean...
Alright, so okay.
Sure everyone would just beat you up.
Well, they'd try.
Connor has a rockin' brawling.
I guess.
I really want to see him in action, though. It'd be great. But okay, I lean in real close. Stare at him with lifeless eyes that aren't actually staring at him, technically.
You just kind of staring past him.
They're just sort of focused way through him.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So yeah, I just do that, and I say, you're lying to me. And I grab his hand.
And at that moment, a small girl runs into the inn, and she says, "Papa, Papa!" And then she kind of like skids to a stop when she sees you. The Smith's face is like pale as snow. Maddie, get out of here.
I let go and I say, I don't know what I would say. I let go of him though. And I don't want to do anything in front of his daughter.
She walks up to you and she kind of has like iron in her eyes. And she like goes up to you, crosses her arms like this and looks up at you and says, "What are you doing to my dad?" She's about like 12.
Connor, you horrible. And I thought I was the bad guy.
No, I think Alphonse is still worse.
Okay. All right. So I don't know. I'd say, but I can't lie to this little girl either.
I mean, you could, but that would be a falsehood roll, and you're not very good at that.
Well, yeah. Well, exactly. That too. I'm not going to lie to her.
So you're going to say I was about to beat your dad for information?
You could theoretically intimidate her away, but
You could stretch the truth.
might not.
Yeah, that's
might
called
fall under
falsehood.
not hurting the
No, it's
children.
not. You're like, I need some information from your dad.
All right, yeah. I just say that. Yeah, I say I need some information.
She narrows her eyes and she says, "What sort of information?"
Someone's been reading books.
Are you like 5 years old? You know, you just go do little girl things.
She's 12.
Go back, little girl. Go do your things. Go play with Barbies. And...
Like little rag dolls.
Yeah, the ragdoll.
I say important information, and I don't even know what else to say. I'm just like,
Okay, so what she does is she grabs her father's like arm and she's like, "Come on, daddy, let's go home." And like he kind of like gives you a look like, "Is that okay?"
please tell me what I need to know.
I think he just sits back down. And he says,
Okay.
"Maddie, I need you to go back home. I need you to get mom, all right? And you tell her what's happening, and I'll be home soon, all right?" And she looks straight into your eyes, Cantarius, and you can't obviously see this. She says, "No. Leave my dad alone."
I just turn to the father, like, your daughter just badmouthed you, not obeying your orders. I don't say anything, but I just look at him like, hey.
And the audience sees a flicker of a smile on the Smith's face, but you don't.
I feel the wind.
You really don't.
You hear the rustle of his beard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, what he does is he stands up tentatively, waiting for you to like try something. And if you don't, then he just walks out with his daughter.
I say, please, a little more threateningly. I take a step forward with my please.
I think Maddie, the girl, she trips you. So
Does she really?
Yeah, I mean, if you're not going to stop her, it's basically just she's like gonna try to push you over with like a power test or whatever. But otherwise, like you could do an opposing brawling if you wanted to.
No.
Okay.
I'm not gonna touch her.
Just roll power, Connor.
Or what about like an agility sort of thing to get out of her way?
You could do that too. You could either do power or agility, depending on what you're doing.
Agility.
Okay. So she got a 1-6. She got 1 success. Nice. All right.
Hey.
So yeah, she tries to push you. You just step out of the way.
Really, I'm just kind of like looking at the dad, like, what the heck? You're letting your kid like attack somebody.
Okay.
Like okay. When I don't really want to talk to the girl. What I'm trying to do is be like, look, guy. I mean, I'm obviously not going to do anything. Like, I know I'm not going to do anything. I don't want to make the guy think that I'm going to do something to his daughter if he doesn't do this.
I think what actually
happened. I'm not going to go too far on that road because I really can't stand the thought of me hurting this little girl.
No, I get you. I think what actually happens is Opage is suddenly next to you, and he has like the empty mug in his hand. Basically, what he says is, "You don't want to take another step towards this, my friend," and he's talking to you. "If you do, nothing good is going to come of it." And he kind of like gestures around at the rest of the patrons who are all kind of looking at you guys, but you probably don't like see the gesture. Obviously, you're just you notice that he moves his arm, and you probably just assume what he's doing. And
I know where everybody is in the room.
Exactly, and you probably start feeling everybody's gaze on you.
I say, I'm sorry, but you should be sorry too that I have to get my information from somewhere else now.
Oh,
and I do whatever bow or honorary, like, respectful thing.
And yeah, he kind of like just grabs his daughter's hand and just looks at you and just walks out.
And I make sure to say sorry to Maddie as well. I'll specifically say that I say, Maddie, I never had any intention of doing any harm to either of you. I'm sorry.
She doesn't spare you another glance and just walks out.
All right. I'll probably go cry now.
Okay. That's actually probably a good place to kind of take our last break here. Stick around. There's more Burning Wheel to come.
Don't touch that dial.
Let's talk about another way that advancement works in the Burning Wheel: learning new skills. Every skill has a stat or combination of stats on which it is based. This is called its root. Skills are listed with their roots in the skills section of the Burning Wheel. When a character doesn't have an appropriate skill, they may test against their beginner's luck at a double obstacle penalty. Beginner's luck dice are equal to the root stat of the skill, not half the stat, the full dice. For skills with 2 roots, you choose which stat to take the test on. As an example, the skill Sword is based on agility, since it involves manual dexterity and hand-eye coordination. Your aptitude in Burning Wheel indicates the number of tests a character needs in order to gain a new skill. Aptitude equals 10 minus the root stat. If the root is a combination of 2 or more stats, the aptitude is 10 minus the average of the root stats rounded down. For example, a character with a 4 in agility has a 6 aptitude for learning the sword skill, 10 minus the exponent of 4 in the stat. When using beginner's luck, it is possible to learn new skills. However, the obstacles for advancement are factored slightly differently. When testing the root stat, note the obstacle before doubling. If the obstacle would count as a routine test, and thus not actually count for advancing the stat, you note a test for learning the new skill. If the test, before doubling, would count as a difficult or challenging for the stat, note a test for advancing the root stat. If there are disadvantages to be applied to the test, like a +1 ob penalty for a superficial wound, add them to the base obstacle for determining the test for advancement, but don't double them along with the base obstacle. Add them to the final obstacle after doubling. Once a character meets the aptitude requirement, they open the skill. They would then write that skill in the skills section of their character sheet. The starting exponent for all skills is half of the root stat, or the average of the 2 root stats, rounded down. Once the skill opens, it advances normally, like any other skill. Another quick rule to explain is linked tests. This is a type of test that helps another test. Once in a while, a character may find themselves in a long-term or complex operation that requires many skills or abilities to overcome. Linked tests can be performed by a single character with many skills, but more often they are undertaken by multiple characters complementing each other. When rolling for a test in a series of linked tests, if the character who tested before your character merely met their obstacle, you gain no benefit. If they exceeded their obstacle, your character gains a +1 die advantage for their portion of the test. If the character who tested before you failed their test, then the obstacle for your portion is increased by 1. For example, a group of characters is sneaking out of a harbor and sailing through pirate-infested waters to a remote island. The pilot must pass a piloting test, the navigator must pass a navigation test, and the character in the crow's nest tests their observation to watch for pirates. All of these tests affect one another, and so they are linked together. A series of linked tests can be several tests in a row, or simply a preliminary test made before your real roll, such as rolling an etiquette test to make sure you treat a princess with respect so that you can get an extra die on your oratory test to convince her to help you and your companions. That's all for now. Let's get back to the action. This is Crow Inquisitors.
All right. We're back for the last hour of the Crow Inquisitors.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good time. It's a good time. Children are not being harmed in the making of this program.
Well, yeah.
All right. So I think we pick up back with Antonius. What are you doing after you kind of treat yourself?
How exhausted am I?
I mean, pretty tired. You only got like 2 hours of sleep today, so.
Yeah, I'm thinking that after an episode of extreme discomfort in the bar downstairs and then realizing that I actually bled through the shirt that I was wearing while working, I decided, you know what, I better get the rest of my sleep.
Okay.
So I'm going to sleep for a few more hours and wait till other people come back and find out what they find. Because I know Theo's nowhere to be found and Alphonse is scared and Dylan's off doing his thing. So I'm just going to sort of wait this one out, mostly because I'm exhausted.
No, I get you.
I mean, blacksmith thing is fun and all, but overnight's kind of
when
a little
it causes
much.
you to bleed, it's probably time to stop.
No, that's the best part. Temper the steel just right.
Oh my
but
goodness.
no.
Well, okay then.
No.
I'm just imagining Cantarius' face when he kind of just realized that you just went up and went to sleep and it never helped him. But I think what we do is actually we cut back to Theo real quick. And you said you wanted to try to like sneak over the wall. Is that your plan was, Adam?
Yeah. What do I have to roll for that?
Well, okay, so it would be 2 rolls. It would be climbing and then stealthy. Unfortunately,
climbing, not agility. Climbing is its own thing.
Climbing is its own thing. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think you have either of those skills.
No. I'm not gonna get them.
You never know. I mean, it's just pouring rain.
And a completely vertical wall.
Yeah, it's fine. People do that every day.
I can do it myself, like in real life.
Scale a vertical wall with no handholds while it's wet. Carrying a trident and other material.
Not gonna lie, I probably could.
Okay, well, let's see if your character can.
Is it smooth stone or cobbles?
I think I did specify that it was wooden palisade, so it's not that difficult to climb.
Okay, that's a lot.
But it is raining, so the odd for the climbing test is probably going to be it's going to make an up 2, and it's going to double to 4. So,
I got it.
Nice, awesome, and you even got 2 6s. Wow. So even if you hadn't gotten those other rolls, you would have. So you climb just fine. So this is actually going to give you an advantage dice to your stealth roll because these are like linked tests. So you can actually put one modifier for your stealthy. And I think the ob will be... Well, the ob for stealthy isn't going to be that hard, actually, because it's... Yeah, let's go ahead and make it a 2 again.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow. You failed. So...
Oh, wow.
But yeah, so basically what happens is you climb over the wall just fine, but the guard totally...
Hey, what are you doing? Like,
yeah, the guard totally knows you're there, and he's just like, are you kidding me? In the name of all that is good and holy, what are you doing? And he basically just like, right as you get onto the top of like that, like the walkway part of the wall, he literally just like comes over and like tackles you.
Like, hey, I just need to talk to the nun.
I just need to talk to the nun as you're being tackled.
That's basically what I said. I was like, hey, I just need to talk to the nun.
Okay, so he's going to go ahead and roll power. You can either roll power or agility in response, whether or not you're like, kind of like pushing back or just kind of drive out of the way.
Can I roll both or no?
No, you can't.
Wait, okay, what's the difficulty? I mean, he's like a church guard, so...
Well, he's just a village guard. He's not guarding the church or anything. His power is a 4. So I'm going to go ahead and roll that. And he got 1. So that's your obstacles 1. He doesn't have any fate points, so he can't reroll that 6. So yeah, you succeeded. You can very well push this guy off of the wall if you wanted to.
No, I'm just kind of like overpower him, like tie him up or something.
Yeah, you overpower him. Yeah, you can roll an untrained knots test to tie him up. If you don't have rope, that's going to be kind of hard. This guy might have rope, but I don't think so.
Can I just knock him out?
Yeah, you can knock him out without a roll. So you just kind of knock him out, leave him on the...
like do like some like pressure point, like...
Do you want to drag him back into his little watchtower shelter place? Because otherwise he's going to be kind of like facing the rain.
Yeah.
Okay, so that works. And then you can just climb down fine. Yeah, so you make your way to the abbey. And what do you do when you reach the gate? Because there is a nun, that same nun there. She doesn't see you offhand. She's still praying by her little incense candle.
Excuse me, have you seen a man coming through here? A man not from these parts.
She doesn't hear you at first.
Excuse me. Hello?
And she kind of glances down, and you just see the barest like movement of her head through the flicker of the candle. And she says, hello? What are you doing out here in this storm?
I'm here looking for a few people. A man, not from these parts, but he came looking for a woman. The Arbus. Or...
Why does everybody keep mispronouncing that? Abyss. It's not that hard.
I thought there was an Arbit.
No.
The Arbiter.
The Abyss.
She doesn't respond right away. And I think I want you to make a persuasion roll to convince her to let you in. And your ob is 4.
His ob should be against my seduction roll that I made earlier.
No, it's not.
Dang it. Nope, didn't make it.
Yep, all right. So, yeah, she just looks down at you and says, this is awfully suspicious to have... And she just stops and she says, I don't think I'm going to let you in, stranger. Please come back tomorrow when it's not storming out. You could try another climbing roll. Climb over this wall. Unfortunately, this is a stone wall, so that will be much more difficult.
Can't be up the nun.
Roll seduction.
I could. I don't know. What do I got? What would be the odds? Still 4, so that'd be 8. So that'd be like impossible.
Yeah, it would be pretty hard.
Let me weigh my options here. Can I do faith?
Oh yes, you absolutely can do faith.
Can I try and make the goddess controller or me control her to let me in or something?
Oh, that would be a very difficult roll.
Then what can I do?
A boon. You could open end a skill. You probably should have done that before you rolled persuasion. You could do a blessing to give yourself +1 dice. You could do aid to give yourself up to +3 dice. A minor miracle would be 4, ob 4. So you could succeed with that, possibly. That's probably what that would be, is just to have her let you in.
So it's a 4, you
Yeah, it's a 4.
What did you say the boon? What is that?
Boon is... It open-ends a skill. So basically, it automatically rerolls 6s.
So it could do it to the persuasion roll? What does that have to do with faith, though?
Basically, what you'd be doing is say, hey, help me on this roll, God. And that's what it would be. But unfortunately, that wouldn't have helped you in that situation either.
Thanks,
yeah.
God.
I think what happens is you get struck by lightning. I think that's what happens.
Oh, man.
because you have angered the gods just a little bit too much today. So I think what we do is we kind of cut away real quick as Theo is praying this, and you see Narani and her son, the god of fire, and I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but you see like the god of fire and Narani, and she's a god of water. Narani is like holding her face like this, and she's like, "He will not let me be." And then the god of fire just kind of looks over her and says, "Let me smite him, mother. Let me smite him. It will be glorious." And she kind of looks at him and says, "Just don't kill him." And then she kind of like walks away. And then we go back to Theo. And I think what I'm going to do, so I'm trying to think of what you would roll against this.
The nuns take care of me. The nuns would take care of me if I just got struck by lightning.
Hopefully.
They're like, "Oh my gosh, this guy just got struck by lightning."
Just the barest moment before this lightning strikes you, you have a sinking feeling in your stomach and you're like, "Oh no." And then the lightning strikes you. So go ahead and make an agility roll against the lightning's agility roll.
Probably like 20.
And it automatically open ends because it's magic. Oh, wow. Wow.
This is so glorious.
All right, let's kind of tally this up here. You got 7 successes against your, what is it? Roll your agility. So your odd is 7.
Oh my gosh.
So that means you take an ob 4 wound, which luckily for you is superficial. You know what? Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like, I think I'm going to bump that up a bit. Because technically,
the lightning, gray shade the lightning.
Gray shading the lightning would increase it by 1. Actually, no, it would be white shaded because it's a god.
Yeah, white shade, yeah.
So yeah, that actually makes the success go up by 1, 2, 3.
So it's 10
So
now?
it's a 10 against your 3. So it's an ob 7, which is a midi wound. So you got a midi wound, which means you have 2 wound dice. Which let's go ahead and look at your stats here. Luckily, you have no stats that are 2 or lower. So you're still up. You're not incapacitated, but you're burned. You're really, really burned. So you're definitely going to have to get treatment. A midi wound must be treated before the conclusion of the session, or else the wound becomes a severe wound. But luckily, the wound ceases to bleed at severe. So if it does increase to severe, you won't die from it. The test cannot be taken until and unless the character receives treatment from field dressing, herbalism, apothecary surgery, or an analogous skill. So yeah, you have to get treatment before you can make that test. So you're going to have to beg this abbess.
Just be all dramatic and fall over and like it had totally killed you.
Yeah, you can absolutely roll a persuasion again because the situation has completely changed. So go ahead and roll your persuasion again. I would not recommend doing any sort of faith roll to try to get a boon on that.
You send a tidal wave and destroys the entire town.
Say the ob is 3, and actually, I think you can fork in conspicuous with this if you want to like ham it up. I think the nun is going to let you in no matter what, but I think your success on this roll is going to determine how fast they get you help. Yeah, go ahead and roll against a 3. Nice, you just barely managed to do it, even with 2 wound dice. The nun like rings like a bell that she has up there, and she's like, "Help! Help! Someone is dying!" Okay, so this is what happens. Alphonse, we kind of cut back to you, I think. What are you doing after you talk to the abbess?
I probably would have waited for her to come back, and I mean, there's nothing really I could do in the meantime.
Yeah, so she doesn't come back, not until Theo gets dragged in. So you're kind of just like waiting in the courtyard or whatever, and you see a bunch of nuns, like soaked nuns. Okay, so first you see nuns, like you hear the bell. 2 of the nuns like kind of run out, and a short time later, you see a burned Theo being dragged by some nuns into the courtyard. And they kind of look at you and they say, "Hurry, help us, please."
Oh boy. Was he conscious?
Yeah, he's conscious. He's leaning on them as they're kind of like putting his arms over their shoulders kind of a thing. They kind of ask you to help because you look like a big, strong man. Well, you look attractive at the very least. You look healthy.
Okay.
Well, no, he has bullcrap wise.
You notice me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Crap.
sure.
I'm just like, oh boy. Well, I guess I go and help him.
Alphonse, they're here.
I'm kind of just flabbergasted. I'm just like, oh man.
Does Alphonse not know that that was not gonna kill the?
I mean, you were all kind of talking about killing the.
I left pretty soon after I figured out where she was and started hearing talk of killing her. I'm just like, I'm gone. And I'm like, oh, if these guys are this far, David's probably definitely already this far and on his way there.
Alphonse, they may be coming to kill the abbess.
Yeah, I know that.
What do you mean?
I was just, shh, we'll talk inside alone, not in earshot of nuns. I already talked to her. I mean, no, I did not.
I mean, no, I did not.
The nuns are like looking at you guys like with really strange looks. So yeah, like one of the nuns, like the middle-aged lady who was up on the tower, is like helping with the other arm as you help with the first arm, Alphonse. And then the other nun that was with, or the other two nuns, like are kind of like walking behind you, like just kind of looking concerned.
Big burly nuns?
The ones that went out are kind of slight nuns. The middle-aged lady she's pretty burly and she's the one helping Theo.
How does Theo feel about the church, by the way, and the popery and whatnot?
Well, that's the thing. He's from a different country, so
whatever. But I don't really care about people.
Okay, good.
I don't like the church itself, but this is different. Like this is just like an off church, not like the church. Like,
I'm talking about like the actual popery who.
Yeah, I don't like
kill us if we disobey.
It'd be the papacy, but okay.
Not the popery.
Not the popery. Potpourri is something completely different.
Yes, I know what potpourri is.
No, okay.
Okay, so yeah, we lead them in, and I'm just like, I'm trying to come up with some grandiose story. So where do we take him?
You take him to like a side room where there's like, some like hospital bed looking things. Another nun kind of like comes out and she is wearing some spectacles and she like has like this little medical bag with her and she kind of just sets it down and opens it up and starts working right away. She's an apothecary. She doesn't have surgery. She just has like herbs and salves and stuff like that. And she needs 4 successes. Unfortunately, she does not have that good of. Or she has 5 exponent in it. So, I mean, that's good. That's like an expert level, but you are pretty burned. So, let's go ahead and see where this goes. And this will take treatment time. Requires 20 minutes per obstacle point. It takes 80 minutes, so about an hour and a half almost to finish this up. So basically, like you can talk to Theo Alphonse as this is being done. She fails.
She cuts your carotid artery.
Let's see what happens when you fail treatment for midi wounds. Actually, first, she needs to stop the bleeding. And technically, she only needed 2 successes for that. So she actually succeeded. So you are not bleeding anymore. You will not get a worse wound from this. And bleeding means like just the wound is going to worse. You're not actually bleeding, I don't think, because the lightning cauterized all of your wounds. But it's not going to get any worse than this per se. So what's going to happen is she realizes how serious it is. And she like has like other nuns like go run and grab some people from the city actually, or from the town. So they go and like grab a doctor.
Like a doctor.
Yeah, something like a doctor.
Like doctor.
So Thea and Alphonse, she kind of like bandaged you up, put some salves on you to make sure that like you're not going to get any worse or whatever until she can actually do the treatment necessary. So what are Alphonse and Theo's conversation like while this is happening?
I'm waiting for Alphonse to tell me what happened.
I mean, right now I'm just like standing in the corner trying to think of a way out of this, but there's literally like nothing I can do.
Alphonse.
Yeah?
Is the abbess safe?
For now?
Good.
I think what happens, Theo, is as soon as you start saying that, the ghost of your wife appears in front of your face. And so you kind of probably like stop mid-sentence. And she's looking at you with that like faraway look that she always does. She's not actually looking at you. She's just looking past you.
Oh, it's the worst.
And then the Nirani's voice comes from the woman's lips and they sound very angry. And basically what she says is, kill the abbess, and then disappears.
Oh my god.
How do you react to this, Theo?
I don't know. I'm kind of mad at her.
So this is the thing. You do not have to play to that instinct. Even though you have that instinct, you do. It's not like a thing that you have to do.
Does he get us some sort of a seizure like he did last time when he sees?
Go ahead and roll a stealth test for me.
Oh, that worked out so well for Jared last time.
Yeah, it really did, didn't it?
Oh, okay, I got an idea. How about, like, since I don't know what the abbess looks like, I'm, like, gonna kill her, and then I see her, and I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Well, that might happen. We'll see. Go ahead and roll steal.
What the heck?
Oh, because you have wounds.
It's almost like a heart attack or almost like a really intense brain, like a migraine. And I'm just like, like it's just like screaming, like imagine like a really high pitched screaming in your head.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what it looks like. I'm just like on the ground, like.
How would you respond to this, Alphonse?
Well, I mean, that was right after he asked if the abbess was okay.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just like, this isn't good. And I'm like, hey, I gotta go take a leak.
So this is a very obvious lie on his part, Theo.
I don't know that the goddess tells me what to do, though.
Just judging from your reaction to me saying she was all right, I'm just like,
something is going down.
Red flag. Something. Yeah. I don't have any idea that you're seeing ghosts of your dead wife. But I'm just like, something is definitely wrong. And I'm just like, yo, hey, I gotta go take care of some clerical stuff. The nuns. I'll be back in a bit. See how the doctor's coming along. You know.
Okay.
And you totally tell that that's an obvious lie, Theo. Like, you know.
I can't roll.
You can roll if you want to.
Pork and persuasion, bullcrap, and tall tale.
So yeah, so you just kind of like nod, I guess, Theo, and Alphonse just like goes off.
I book it to the abyss.
Let's kind of jump over real quick to Cantarius and Antonius. What are they up to? I mean, Antonius is sleeping.
Yeah.
But Cantarius, you're crying?
Yeah.
You wouldn't do anything else for a couple hours still, you think?
Probably not.
Okay, so never mind. We jump back. Actually, I think we do jump to you guys. Yeah, I think we do jump to you guys with the camera shots or whatever, and we literally just it's like dramatic music is kind of playing, so it's just like a little bit of a short montage shot where you just see Cantarius crying in like the corner of his room in the inn, and you just see Antonius sleeping. And then we kind of
glorious.
Then
can I do a sleep check? Is there a sleep check?
There is not.
Oh, I was playing this role-playing game with a bunch of other guys one time, and it was one of those open-ended D20 type of things. So it's just roll for whatever. And the one guy rolled on his sleep check, and he got a perfect 20. And so the DM's like, you had the most perfect sleep you've ever had, and you never need to sleep again in your life. And you woke up, and someone left you a gift with a lot of money and an amazing breakfast.
Well, okay then.
What the heck?
I don't think that's how that works. I think we jump back to Alphonse then. Alphonse, you intersect the abbess as she's coming to go like check out Theo. She's with a couple of the nuns that were helped him in. She looks very concerned as she kind of like is clasping her hands and walking and talking with the nuns to her side. And he's like, he was struck by lightning? What does that even mean?
Okay, I look to her and I'm visibly shaken and concerned. I'm like, we need to talk now, alone.
We already talked, and I already told you I will not go into a private conversation with someone I don't know.
The situation is worse, and do you want to cause a panic?
She narrows her eyes. I mean, go ahead and make a persuasion, I guess.
Okay. Should I add seduction since she thinks I'm charming?
Sure.
What's the app?
Her will, which is 4.
Name a pair of shoes? Yes.
Got it.
Oh, that was close.
Okay, so yeah, she just nods and says, I'll be there shortly, and to like the other nuns, and they walk on ahead, and she literally just leads you into like the side room that's like right next to them in the hallway. I think it's like a pantry, actually. It's big. It's like a big pantry. And she keeps the door open, but she just kind of leads you in there real quick. And what did you want to tell me?
So yeah, I literally just tell her everything now. Like, okay, what? I might have not, yep. I want them to escape, and it all comes into my plan of betraying the Hopery. Okay, so I may have not told you everything the first time. I'm one of said Inquisitors, not by my own will. There's magic implanted in my brain, and if I disobey the Hopery called again?
Papacy.
I think they should be able to fork in bullcrap wise,
Papacy,
just because it's the most ridiculous story ever.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, so the Papacy was about to execute me for crimes committed in my past, but I'm kind of a new guy now, and they implanted magic in my brain. So if they find out I disobeyed the Papacy or killed any of my companions, they're going to blow up my brain.
Is that really what happened? Like, is there magic in my brain too?
Oh, it's not just in your brain, your whole body.
So literally, they basically like casted like some sort of curse on you that if you like disobey them, they can tear apart your atoms, basically.
Only it was
His
a little-
Adams.
Okay.
I bet you haven't heard that joke a million times.
I've probably never heard that joke before. What are you talking about?
Okay, so what is your intent at the end of that? So you kind of like tell her
whole
the truth.
spiel,
Yeah.
And how I'm like the Pope's son, and I'm trying to end the papacy and like the nobility and the main,
Papacy.
like the main religious and like the main political city, because it's all like super corrupt and whatnot.
Oh, that's something I get behind.
They sent us here to basically kill you and all the other heretics, and I'm trying to stop it. And in the beginning, it was just to spite the papacy, but now I don't really know
There you go.
why.
Get it right, guys.
It's grown to be more than that. And you seriously need to leave now, because the guy in there is one of the Inquisitors, and he just tried to sneak in to maybe kill you. I don't know. So you need to leave now.
So, I mean, that's another persuasion roll. You can add the dice for the tall tale teller, because that is one of the most ridiculous stories that anyone's ever heard. And what else did you want to fork into that?
Seduction, because at the end I'm just like, you really need to leave, because like the world can't lose someone as amazing and willing to go as far as you have to protect the people and, you know, share the word and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to do a persuasion.
Wasn't coming from a
Radical
serial
clockwise,
adulteress. I probably
seduction.
think that was kind of sweet.
Yeah.
And a liar.
Hey, Connor, my heart grew 2 sizes this day.
See you with the Grinch before? Did you try to steal Christmas too?
No, I tried to steal all the wives.
As I think about it now, you probably did ruin Christmas for Maddie 1 year or 2 years or a couple of years.
The blacksmith's
Maddie,
daughter.
the blacksmith's daughter.
Say it again, Kim.
Oh, yeah.
The blacksmith's
man.
daughter. He
I couldn't hear
he
you.
committed adultery with the Maddie's mother, remember?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, I mean, you don't know this. You do not know this.
But based on the explosive and
You threatened your father.
I
It's
wasn't
not-
planning on doing anything.
Neither was I. I was drunk.
Oh, I love this session so much.
Connor,
You're the worst.
it was probably before. That's probably my daughter, to be fair.
It is entirely possible. Oh, wait a second. Let's think about this, actually. She's 12 years old.
Okay.
You would have been 17?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. It's entirely possible. Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, whatever. That makes the story horribly more tragic.
Yeah.
You're a terrible person, dude.
I'm trying to get better.
this is my friend. Why are you guys doing such terrible things to this guy?
Because it makes the story more interesting.
Okay, so persuasion, I'm forking in seduction, falsehood for the whole making these guys seem much worse than they are,
Sure.
and tall tale, so that's 3.
How many dice are you rolling all together then?
9.
Make the ob an 8.
Oh, Caleb, why?
Because, okay, so this is the thing. The first persuasion roll you made, though you succeeded, it was with a lie. And now that you've changed your story, she's much less likely to believe you about this. She's so
I didn't
confused. She's
change
like,
the story, though. The story's still mostly the same.
I know, but like,
She's suspicious of you.
it's entirely possible for you to succeed in this roll. It really is.
Come on. Crap.
There's a fate to be spent there. You can roll that 6 again.
Can I spend a persona?
You could have before the roll.
Oh, I should. I kind of want to do that.
Gotta
too
let her
late.
do that.
Gosh darn it.
I'm still really depressed.
And it's a
Crap.
failure. So basically, she looks at you and she says, "Am I supposed to believe that?" And then she just turns on her heel and walks out. She closes the door to the pantry on you.
I just look really like downtrodden when she says that. I'm just like, oh man.
And then you hear the click of the lock as you're locked inside the pantry.
Oh boy.
Oh, man.
Does she know what the Pope looks like?
I don't know. She's probably never seen the Pope before.
Well, from paintings and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess you probably know what the Pope looked like.
Can she see the resemblance? Do I get another dice?
No, that wouldn't help.
Darn it. Yeah, that would collaborate at least one of the most unbelievable parts of my story, that I'm the son of the Pope.
No.
Fork in political influence.
Yeah. Can I fork in my reputation?
Mm-mm, no, it's only for circles rolls.
I'm a sad boy.
So yeah, so that's where we cut away from Alphonse. Let's go ahead and wrap up the rest of this with the other characters. So Antonius and Contarius, are you gonna do anything or just continue sleeping and crying? Like,
Well, I was honestly hoping people would return to the pub before the end of the session.
well, that's the thing. Contarius could come wake you up.
That's true. Or do we get individual rooms or like a suite of rooms off of a common area? Because I feel like my character might have just plunked himself down in a chair after bandaging up and be like, I'm going to take a minute and then just pass out.
Yeah, I think that's what did happen. I think this. I think this inn is like the most expensive inn in the town, and there's only one suite of rooms like that, and you guys bought it out, kind of a thing. And so there's a suite of like 5 different like small bedrooms, all adjoining like a little common room area. So Cantarius probably saw you on his way to go cry.
Saw.
Heard you. Sensed your presence. So, Cantarius, you gonna wake Antonius up, or?
Yeah, I probably will. I mean, I want to get a move on things. I want to get this over with, so.
You want to put on move on things.
Hey, now.
That's Alphonse's job.
That's true.
So, so you wake up Antonius. Antonius, how do you respond to that?
How much sleep have I gotten?
Let's say about 2 hours more of sleep. So you've got about 4 hours of sleep.
That's about average. I'm good.
Okay, so how do you respond when he wakes you up?
I'm irritable because I don't like being awakened. And I'm also irritable because I fell asleep in a chair rather than in the bed that I wanted to be in.
That's fair. I'd apologize, but I don't... Yeah, my character's not too concerned about your sleeping habits right now. I'm just like, we need to get going. I don't even know where everybody else is. They might be killing people as we speak.
And you feel like you need to participate in that if it's occurring?
That's a good point.
I think the rain is kind of cleared up at this point, so you no longer hear any of the raindrops.
I kind of frown and say, what should we do? Because I'm just looking for direction, because I'm just so not in the mood for this. I say, all right, what do we do then? What do you suggest?
Completely out of character here. I have honestly not much of an idea of what I want to do at this point. I think that they're making a scene out at the Abbey. That's not really Antonius's thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can get you in and out of places if you find some place you need to get in and out of.
I mean, Alphonse did just get locked in a pantry.
Can break stuff. I can, but I'm not going to be necessarily out looking to kill random nuns or, whatever. Yeah.
So you say we should just kind of hang tight?
Yeah.
Cool.
Hold on. Can I try to break my staff?
Absolutely.
Okay. Oh, how about I ask him if he can, unforge it, dismantle it in the forge?
Depends on what it's made of.
I don't know.
Magic.
Yeah, he has no idea what it's made out of.
Yeah, literally, I ask you if you can stick it in the forge and melt it, see what happens.
All right, let's do some fun stuff here, shall we? I've been waiting to use these stats since I rolled the character. I'm going to do appraisal, figure out what it is, what it's made of. So then I'm going to fork in materials-wise, what is it made of? Tools-wise, what was used in the construction, because that's also important, particularly for deconstruction.
Yeah.
And then I'm also going to fork in artisan-wise, see if there are any particularly distinguishing marks, something I might recognize. Well, no, I guess that'd be a linked test.
That would be a linked test, yeah.
Yeah, so I won't do that right now then. All right, so that looks like that's 3 forks. Oh, can I fork in blacksmith as well?
No, it's a staff.
Yeah, I suppose.
And at first glance, it looks like it's made of wood.
Okay. Base ob.
How many dice do you have?
7.
Yeah, it should be a graduated test. So just, go ahead and make it a...
Base ob on 1.
Yeah. Nice. You can reroll that 6 if you'd like to.
Not sure that it's important enough to me to go beyond just a normal appraisal.
Yeah, it looks like it's actually not a graduated test. It would probably be an ob 7, to be honest. No, actually, no. It would be an ob 4.
Because my intent was to learn about its construction and not necessarily everything there is to know about it. This would make sense to be a graduated test, but...
Yeah, I think I'm going to make the ob actually 5. In the list or whatever, it says antiquities are ob 4, and then if it's magical, ob 1. Basically, what you get from this is it looks like it's made of wood, but it is so freaking hard. It is not made out of any wood that you've ever seen. It appears to be made of just simple oak, but it's obviously not, because you can whack it as hard as you can against a wall and it will not, no dents whatsoever. Maybe a little scratch on the wall. You don't have any experience with magical items of any sort. So yeah, you have no idea what the magical properties of this could be. You just know that it's not natural.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's clearly not normal wood, and it's clearly it's beyond anything I've seen before.
Yeah, definitely.
In terms of construction and strength and quality.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'd be willing to give it a go in the forge, although being magical, I would suggest that you be the one to put it actually into the forge so that if it does blow up in a big cloud of colorful smoke, I'm not the one killed by it, you know? I mean, magic and fire kind of all together, and breaking magical items.
Is this a conversation you're having in character?
Good idea. Yeah.
I didn't laugh then. I'm like, that's a good idea. I honestly say, I get concerned and kind of pale, and I'm like, yeah, I'm actually really concerned about what will happen if we actually can break this, so you should be careful.
Maybe you should have told him that before.
I mean, I didn't really think about it. I just want it to break. I don't really care. But after he's like, talking about the concerns of what might happen, I'm like, I never thought about what would happen if I actually broke it. I just wanted to desperately break it. I never thought of the repercussions of the act of breaking it, because I didn't care if I died when I broke it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Cantarius, you go ahead and stick it in the fire then?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so this is the thing, like, you can't just
we've got
you can't just walk into the blacksmith's forge or you use it without his permission. You gotta ask him again.
Guy probably shouldn't be here.
You could find another smith. Yeah, the thing is, Antonius didn't know what happened with the smith before, and he'd be just like, well, there's a smith right next door. Why don't we just go to that guy?
Yeah.
Actually, to be honest, Cantarius, I don't think you know that the smith lives right next door.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you guys should probably walk in.
How is this not going to blow up in my face? I don't want this to blow up in my face. I want that forge.
Can I say, since I'm always making something, could I have been making something for the blacksmith as like a peace offering?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Definitely.
what would that be?
Maybe a doll for his child?
Yeah, I'll do that.
So what is it made out of exactly? Like, what did you go and scavenge? Actually, go ahead and make a scavenging roll. You have a skill for a reason, so yeah, go ahead and make it scavenging roll. I think it'd probably be... Okay, so what exactly you're trying to find?
Doll, material, probably something softer than metal.
So like cloth or something like that you could make.
Yeah.
Maybe like cloth and straw that you could like put the straw inside the cloth and like sew it up. Okay. Make that an 2. Very nice. I mean, you succeeded though. Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, I think that's a roll again to make it though, because you just scavenged. You didn't.
Yeah. All right. So, but I got the materials necessary, and then it'd be junk. No,
it would be mending actually. Yeah.
What would the op be to make a doll?
Let's make it a 3.
What?
You can fork in other stuff though. You can fork in.
Oh, can I fork in junk wise?
I mean, you already succeeded, so I guess it doesn't matter.
But I want to succeed with style.
To be honest, if you fork stuff in, that makes the test less difficult.
Oh.
So, and yeah, you got a difficult test from that, so that's actually pretty good. You should probably just keep it.
All right. So how about when I do realize that it's their house? How about I realize it before I go in?
Okay.
And I'm going to use the cash that I have and like buy them some meal or something like that.
You want to give me a bit of a heads up before we just go walking in?
Yeah.
Before I just go walking in?
I wanted to get some. That was the first person I questioned, is the blacksmith here, and he took it badly.
What have
and his
you
daughter
done?
walked in, and he was kind of mad.
Done?
I know. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna go get like a pie, and I'll be back in a sec.
Okay.
I need this place. What have you done?
I know. It's fine though.
Yeah, go ahead and make a resources roll, Connor. And you can add 1 to that. Just buying like a pie, I think it's probably just ob 1.
Oh, I don't have resources, so
Yeah, you do. We have 1 resources. That's an attribute.
Oh,
So go ahead and roll that, and then 1 modifier is what you're getting with that cash.
base ob 1.
It's an ob 1, yep.
I
Nice.
succeeded in buying a pie.
Awesome. So yeah, your cash goes away. So
Is that a difficult?
it's actually your routine because you used that dice, but you do need a routine. Okay, so yeah, you buy a pie and basically so you guys walk in. Antonius, how does this go down exactly? Like, what do you...
Well, I would think that while he's off buying the pie, I would probably go in and see if there was any work he needed done.
Okay.
Anything that he particularly wanted me to work, that maybe he doesn't necessarily want to work on, or he's backlogged on, or just something to busy my hands, so that I'm not walking in at the same time as Cantarius.
Absolutely.
I really, really don't want this guy to associate me with the man who intimidated him in front of his daughter.
No, definitely. Yeah. So I think what happens is you walk in and you see him kind of praying over his forge. He kind of looks up when he sees you, or when he hears you come in, and just clearly coughs or whatever, to kind of hide the fact that he was doing that. But it's really obvious.
I'm just gonna not necessarily be obvious about ignoring it, but just be kind about it. Not
yeah. So he turns to you and he says, Antonius, what can I help you with? And you do actually know that this guy's name is August, Agost.
Well, August, I was wondering if you had any more piecework, something that needed to be done, you were backlogged on, if you wanted more help today.
And he kind of narrows his eyes. He's like, you want to be paid for this? I don't have much in the way of coin at the moment.
If you would allow me some small time in your shop to work on a project of my own, then that would be more than enough compensation.
He just nods and he's like, that would be, I don't know what to say. Thank you. I would very much appreciate that. And kind of just there's an order of horseshoes that he hasn't gotten around to yet that the guards want. He kind of mentions in passing that the guards have come and kind of roughed him up a bit about it. Basically, he doesn't say this out loud, but you can kind of tell that he's not in a good financial place. So, and he basically kind of says he just got the metal necessary to make the horseshoes. So the forge did seem pretty bare in terms of scrap metal and stuff.
Okay, so this guy's pretty hard off then.
Yeah.
Here comes the difficult part, because guards are part of the establishment, and
fight the power.
They took my livelihood from me. They took everything. I hate them.
Yep.
Well, in this case, though, I think that I don't want to run the risk of the guards taking it out on this guy. So I'll work on the order of horseshoes.
Okay, so Cantarius walks in. Where do you go first, Cantarius? You just go walk into the forge, because it's an open space.
I just approach the person that I see first. Who do I see first?
Antonius. You just see Antonius working on the forge, and August went back into the house to work on paperwork.
I'll probably just go inside.
How's the shop laid out? Can open shop with a house attached?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just go in there and be like, yo, sorry about before.
Mm-hmm.
I literally would probably just say that and have no other words.
It'd be persuasion.
Persuasion.
Yeah, so unfortunately you don't have that. So you're going to be rolling that persuasion against his will. 3. So it's going to double to 6, unfortunately.
Yep. Do I get a bonus for the fact that I'm bringing a pie and a doll?
Yeah, basically what that is it's an advantage dice. It's like a bribe, basically.
So what is that? What do I get modifiers in?
1 modifier.
Just 1 for the pie and the doll?
Oh.
I handcrafted it.
Okay, so I'll give you 2. That's fine.
Okay. Martha?
You can spend a persona on this if you want to. You do have 1 persona.
What would that do?
It'll give you 1 more dice.
Nah. Okay.
Wow, that's a really bad roll.
You made him real mad.
So I think what he does is he throws the pie on the ground and grabs the doll, and he shakes it in your face, and he says, "You scared my daughter half to death today! What kind of a monster are you?"
Ooh, shots fired.
Can I hear him outside?
Out of my sight! Yeah, and you definitely hear him.
Yeah, okay. Bars may be a little too cold, but I'm gonna pull it out of the forge and beat on the thing. I don't want to listen to this. I'm just gonna drown it out with a couple extra hammer blows.
I think he starts to get a little angry.
Cantarius?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he doesn't like this too much.
This is horrible. This is so bad.
What is this not look in our
kind of stares at him like,
how dare you not accept my apology?
Yeah, I mean, seriously. Like obviously he understands that the guy doesn't understand what he's going through. But his entire world has just been destroyed right now. And now he's against his will serving the papacy. And he wanted information from him and trying to get it nicely so he didn't have to get it in other means. Hey, that was as nice as he could do it while still getting the information. So I think he's just going to stare at him. He's going to intimidate him.
Just with a stare? So what's your intent?
He's just probably so conflicted because he's like, I was, just trying to do the right thing. And this guy is just literally freaked out and threw my pie on the ground. Like, I think that's the main thing. Is just like he just destroyed a pie. Like, what is wrong with you? Like is this the idea that it's like, hey, at least eat the pie? Like, what's wrong with you?
If we were in August's head right now, he would absolutely be regretting knocking that pie on the ground because he's, as we kind of learned with Antonius, he's not too well off, and that could feed his family.
So I'm going to say that he is just really angry for a while. Does that concern him at all? Does that concern August? Does he hesitate? He can tell that he's like bottling up some rage right now.
I think you should make an intimidation roll with the intent of making this guy understand how angry that just made you. That's against his will, so that's a 3 again. Yeah, you got a 6, so you can reroll, except you don't have any fate. So yeah, you just failed. So basically, yeah, you just kind of stew in the doorway for a bit. And August, like, he does pale a little bit when he kind of like looks at the pie, but then he just shuts the door on you. I
stop him from closing the door. I want to get across something. Okay. I'm sick and tired of this right now.
Okay.
I am.
You dug this hole, kid. Well, how old is Cantarius?
35.
Kid. Yeah. I stop the door and I basically just say, "What did I do? You don't understand any of this. I am doing the right thing right now. Like what? Like you just don't understand."
Okay, so he tries to
be emotionally freaking out. This guy.
He tries to shut the door on you, so it's an opposed power. Go ahead and roll your power against this guy.
Wow, how did I get a 0?
What?
I don't know. I got a 0, man.
Oh,
I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
how did I get
3.
a 0?
He just closes the door on you, and then he locks it.
All 3 of his successes were 6s.
They were, yeah. So what do you do, Connor?
I kind of trudge over to Antonius.
I'm over there at the forge, pumping the bellows, pointedly ignoring you.
I take my staff. I just throw it in.
Okay. And I think we'll cliffhanger there. I think we'll find out what happens with that next time. But the one last thing we have to do, we're going to cut back to Theo. We have to do this recovery roll. The doctor came in, like the doctor they got from the town. So he's gonna go ahead and do surgery on you, and then the nuns are gonna help him with apothecary. So this is gonna be 66. Gets an ob 3. Yep. So they succeeded. So you are going to recover just fine, and I gotta roll for how long it's gonna take. This is the number of weeks that it's going to take. It's going to take 6 weeks for you to fully recover. The first eye is recovered as soon as the successful medical test is made. So basically this turns into a light wound in terms of like stats. So you no longer have the whole 2 dice thing. Yeah, so that other dice is not going to come back until 6 weeks from now. So you're definitely a lot more scarred now than you were, even though you had a lot of scars. And yeah, you're burned up pretty badly. This is Burning Wheel, my friends. It's a harsh mistress.
As you may have come to expect by now, we end every episode going back through our beliefs, instincts, and traits, and finding out if our characters earned any Artha through their actions and play. Let's check that out now.
So let's go ahead and go through these beliefs and instincts here, and I have a feeling that you guys all earned quite a bit of fate. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with you, Alphonse.
I'm as good as Dylan, and I'll prove it by trying to take charge in his absence. So, I definitely did that.
So you're saying that like going to talk to the abbess was that taking charge?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to end the papacy, and I'll start by scamming the church. Definitely did that.
So what was exactly your scam?
Trying to get all the heretics out of the city.
Okay.
And that's
really something. Jared is once again locked in a closet.
This time by an abbess.
The most beautiful woman he's ever seen locked him in a closet.
Mm-hmm. I want to restore my reputation by making the party start to trust me. I may or may not be genuine.
I don't think you played it at all, actually.
Yeah, a little bit with Adam, but
really, you didn't make Theo try to trust you.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, I always entertain myself. I actually didn't do that this time.
Yeah, alcohol didn't get you into trouble. Always make the situation worse.
Always definitely made the situation worse. Adam got struck by lightning.
That had nothing to do with you. It had everything to do with a man with too much faith.
Yeah,
not enough.
Or not enough.
Rabble rouser.
Size of a mustard seed, you get struck by lightning.
No, your faith has to find a subtle balance between the size of a mustard seed and the size of the head of a pin. And if it gets too much larger than the head of a pin, then you get struck by lightning.
I love that you wrote on your enemy circles literally everyone. Alphonse.
I did that a lot. I'm pretty sure I did that the first night.
So your traits?
Okay, rabble rouser.
Not really.
Drunk, no. Mark of privilege, no. Unlucky. I got locked in a closet.
Yeah, I'll give you a fate for this time.
This time. You got that far, though.
Tall tale teller.
Definitely take fate for Tall Tale Teller. The true story you concocted got you into a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I tell the truth and I get in trouble with that. Okay, rapey or wit?
Not really.
Yeah. And then, no, the cultural stuff.
No. 5 fate this time? Wow. That's pretty low for Alphonse.
Seriously.
So yeah, go ahead and put that in your stats and skills and add that to the 9 fate you already have.
14 fate.
Okay, Cantarius. I think you actually got fate this time, Connor.
Yeah, I did. I was spared for a reason, and I will administer my own justice. Not really. The staff is the key to figuring out what happened to my son. If I break it, maybe the bondages of my son's soul can be broken as well. I definitely attempted to do that.
Yes, you did. Yeah, so you get fate for that.
Alphonse is evil in every regard, and I'll find a way to punish him like I have been punished, but I never even saw Alphonse except for the very beginning scene, so...
I'm going to vote that one off.
Connor, if you want to, I am willing to let you rewrite one of those beliefs for this session about the blacksmith. Either you can rewrite it to give yourself a persona point, so like resolve the situation with the blacksmith, or if you don't feel like it's resolved, you could make a belief basically about I need to do something.
Of it?
Yeah, like because
I honestly was just thinking about that though.
Uh-huh.
What I kind of want to do is do something like I want to do the right thing, no matter what, and no matter who thinks I'm doing the right thing or not. Like, but I also don't know if I actually would think that right now. The belief might be the opposite of that. Like, these people deserve it now. Like, I might think that, but I don't want to be a bad person. like Antonius and I are the only two people who are actually like slightly good.
I never did anything wrong.
Yeah,
well, there was that one time.
You killed a couple people.
And then those 3 guards. But, you know.
So we can only have 3 beliefs, correct?
Yep.
I'm going to change the Alphonse one simply because there's no positive thing that's going to come from this RPG of me attacking Jared's character.
And I haven't done anything to spite you yet, so...
Yeah, you have. You
what? Name one.
With people, and your list of crimes was all you needed to do to spite my character.
Yeah, but you don't even know if that's true or not. They could all be lies.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
We've met you. It's very unlikely.
Yeah. So I still hate his guts, and like I want to kill him, but I'm not gonna make that my belief.
Mm-hmm.
I think it should be I want to do the right thing.
And what's like your first step doing that?
What was my first step, or what is my first step?
What is your first step? I mean, unless you already had a first step.
I want to do the right thing no matter what people think, I guess.
I always do what's right no matter what anyone thinks.
Stop us from killing the heretics that don't need to be killed.
Yeah.
That's probably it. I'm not going to kill all the heretics.
I will make sure
that we don't kill anybody that does not deserve death.
There is no needless death. Yeah.
Yeah. If there's a confrontation, I take the lead. Did I get something for that for confronting the blacksmith or no?
Yeah, I suppose so. Go ahead.
Okay. Always inventing something. I was doing that.
It didn't really get you into trouble, though.
That's true. Never harm a child.
Definitely got you into trouble.
Yeah, got you in trouble.
All right.
So, yeah, how many fate points did you get for that then?
3.
Antonius, let's go ahead and go through yours.
Mm-hmm. Is there a chance I could refine or add a belief?
Absolutely.
Or does that happen? Okay.
No, you're good.
I kind of like the flavor of Cantarius' new one, preventing needless death. That does seem to be what I was playing to today.
Yeah, let's team up and have the same belief, and then this party will actually kind of be like organized and with the same goal.
Uh-huh. Well,
at least sort of.
Perhaps it would be something along the lines of, I don't want to be a horrible person, therefore I will rein in the impulsive and destructive instincts of the other members of the party.
Absolutely. It's a good belief.
It's a very good belief morally.
You won't necessarily get persona for that unless you legitimately do that like in full kind of a thing, but you will definitely get fate for it every time you try to do it.
Do you mean like if he convinces them not to be violent anymore?
Well, that's the thing. Like, basically, the way to fulfill that belief and get a persona would basically be to stop them from basically change their personality into not being that impulsive. But if you did want to get a persona for it, what you would do is you would write that out. That would be the start of the belief, and then you'd have a first step into doing that, and then you could get a persona when you finish that.
Okay, sure. I don't want to be a horrible person. Therefore, I will rein in the bloodthirsty impulses of the other members of the party.
And then your first step to doing that is?
First step is to prevent them from harming anyone at the Abbey until we have proof of heresy.
That very much might still happen. Especially if David gets involved.
So leave that kind of going both ways here.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Is that
okay?
Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, take fate for that.
I want to get my life back, so I'll prove myself by completing this mission. Yeah. Working toward the completion of the mission.
Take fate. You still have not hurt the first noble you saw.
No, I'm starting to think that maybe
he hurt me emotionally by ignoring me.
That's true. Does that count?
I don't think you were actively working towards that, though.
No.
Yeah.
No, I haven't really been actively working toward ending the oppression, whatever. Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure about the way that one's written, because it's like that's totally something, I despise the oppressive nobility, something that Antonius would feel, but I'm not so sure about that particular therefore.
Mm-hmm.
Because Antonius wouldn't just impulsively follow that belief and then blow up blow up the party that would cause him to be shredded into little bits and pile on the ground in a puddle of goo.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, let's workshop that one before next session and try to figure out something.
Okay. Instincts. If I see something broken, I must fix it. Didn't get me into trouble.
No.
Other than that, part of the reason I'm at that forge that day when Cantarius throws his staff in. So that can get me into trouble
you'll probably get into trouble next time, depending on how that goes.
I always believe I'm right. That didn't necessarily get me into trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I always have a knife on me. Didn't get me into trouble. Then we go through traits as well.
Doesn't look like
Broken
any of yours,
ambitious,
really.
cynical, religious, haughty, gluttonous, made man, hand-eye coordination, unlucky. Well, Cantarius has gone and made enemies with my friend.
Yeah, go ahead and take fate for unlucky. That's fine. That's one that will very easily give you fate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Adam.
So that's 3.
Yeah.
Beliefs. If I do Nurani's bidding, I will get my wife back. I will kill this man for the goddess.
Well, okay, so do you want to rewrite that belief to I will kill the abbess for the goddess? Are you actually going to try to do that? Like, is that a thing your character will do?
I don't know. I feel like once I see her, I think the abbess is just like, I don't think anything of her, but when I see her, I feel like she'll have some kind of influence on me not to. Like, I can't. Almost like, and how in Snow White, that one guy was like, oh, I'm going to kill her.
Mm-hmm.
Sees her and he's like, I can't do it. I can't do this. He was like a murderer.
Well, this is the thing. So in this moment, like right as when the abbess hasn't come yet, does your character believe that you will kill the abbess for the goddess?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So let's go ahead and rewrite that. Take fate for that. Because, you did, if I do Nurani's bidding, I will get my wife back. You did try to do that. Yeah, I'm fighting whether or not to trust the gods. I'll work towards increasing my faith. You absolutely work towards increasing your faith. Yeah, it did definitely get you in trouble too. It's still fate because if you didn't actually increase your faith score, as soon as you do, then you will definitely get a persona for that.
Oh, okay. Do I get a third belief?
You can, yes. If you have another idea for a belief, you can write that in and get fate for it. Yeah, that's fine.
Instincts. If the goddess tells me to kill someone, I'll kill them.
Didn't get you into trouble.
Always judge a book by its cover. Not really. I haven't really. I feel like that'll come into hand next time because I'll judge her and be like, oh, maybe she isn't so bad.
Sure.
Never heed danger.
Oh yeah, absolutely take fate for that. You got struck by freaking lightning, for goodness sake.
Oh yeah, because she told me not to.
Exactly.
I was like, oh, she ain't gonna hurt me, and then she did.
Yeah.
And that's it, right?
Well, traits. You know what? Go ahead and take fate for determined because you were very determined to succeed on a faith roll.
Or I'm not.
See, this is the thing. I feel like if we were just kind of going at face value, you would get fate for Never Heed Danger, Determined, Faithful, and Believer, because all of them contributed to you getting struck by lightning, but I don't think... You know what? You got struck by freaking lightning. Take Fate for all of those. That's fine. So yeah, you have 6 Fate. Yeah. Awesome. So, I mean, that was a fantastic session, guys. I'm really glad
Yes,
we
it
got
was.
to...
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to have to go against my own will and instinct next game. I'm going to see the Abyss, and I'm like, sneak up behind her or something.
Adam, we just need to have a confrontation and be like, whoa, no. And it's like, no.
Problem is, you're locked in a pantry right now, so...
Yeah. I'll persuade the door to open.
Come on, door.
Well, I mean, you could persuade maybe a passing nun to open it for you. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe there's.
Oh, yeah, the matronly nun who thinks I'm attractive.
It's a possibility. She's helping, like, Theo at the moment. So, they're doing their surgery apothecary stuff. So, yeah, I'll see you all next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you for playing. It's been fantastic.
All right.
Adios, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.
That was very successful.
That was episode 3 of Crow Inquisitors. Look out for bonus content during the week as well, such as original fiction, music, and other extras to tide you over until we return to the campaign proper. I hope you enjoyed the story so far. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week for another episode.